to Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan.
Put some respect on my name.
Respect our name.
I ain't gonna say it no
Gas motherfuckers.
I'm Tom Van. Tom Van. I'm me. I'm Tom Van. I'm me. I'm Tom Van. I'm me. I'm Tom Van. I see things different. Both of his kids can skip around with these. I think he's got some kind of nerve disease. Old Tom Van, the no-skip man. Time for bathing, time for bathing.
It stinks in here. There must be diarrhea in the atmosphere.
You've released a curse that cannot be undone. And poor Captain Tom, fare thee well, fare thee well. You'll be driving this boat straight to hell.
I've watched a little too much pornography. I like Marilyn's bag of sweat. Walking through the beat-up car with real regret. She hopes that she won't have to work here too long. I like 'em better with her plain clothes on.
So there's a knock on the door. I go to the door, and it's this guy named Deacon Proudfoot, who is the president of the Oakland chapter. And he says, hey, we want to meet Willie. And so Willie comes out, and he's talking to him, and, he meets all the guys, and they were all very nice and cordial. And, we chatted for a bit, and then Willie goes, well, sorry, guys, I got to go to the gig. And they stop for a minute, and they go, we'll take you. So right. Willie and I got on the back of their bikes. And, Willie got on one bike, I got on another. And so we roll up to the backstage gate, and the cop there, the guard, security guy, stops us, says, you can't go in here. And the first bike pulls up with Willie on him, and the guy goes, well, this is Willie Nelson. He's playing here. And the cop goes, yeah, sure it is. And Willie had to pull out his American Express card.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, at that time, everybody on their bikes looked like Willie Nelson.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
Also, the cop would be like, why would Willie Nelson show up with the Hell's Angels?
Why isn't he on a tour bus?
Yeah, my answer to that would be, why wouldn't he?
I think we probably can start with Halloween Horror Nights. That is
Okay.
technically like the first. So Disney did do some Halloween events before, but it was not on the scale of like a full park, right? So it was just kind of like, oh, you want to show up. This was like in the 70s. Oh, you want to show up to the park with your kids dressed up and watch like Sleepy Hollow, the cartoon? Let's do that. Cool. And that was kind of just it on Halloween. But when in 1991 is when Halloween, well, technically at the time it was Fright Nights.
Fright Nights.
Oh, yes. I remember Fright
Nights.
Yeah, it was originally Fright Nights, and it was like a 3-day event, just kind of thrown together really quickly. But
it's like the show. We're the Fright Nights. We're the Fright Nights of podcasting.
Yeah, like, what do we got? We got Fright Night.
Yeah.
Put it up there.
Put your headphones on. Scotty, are you good? Let's go, go.
As soon as he hits go live, I hear loud coming out of the VR headset what sounds like an Indian call center of teens screaming fuck. Like, I'm not joking.
Fuck, you fuck.
So then I'm in the world. Then I'm in there, and then I'm start talking to Crystal because she's in there. I'm like, babe, how do you turn this? How do you turn the volume?
Never say babe.
Yeah.
So like, babe,
done it.
Dumb old man doesn't know how to turn off the volume.
Then I hear some teen scream. There's an old man, a confused old man in here.
I just spit my fucking coke out.
And then I'm like, they can hear me.
I just dumped my coke all over my shirt.
I'm
Dude,
like,
that's...
So then they're like,
someone come get their grandpa.
They start making fun of me, right? And then so I'm like,
then you're tossing the shit across the room.
I just take the headset off, but I can still hear them.
One boat at a time. That's Ramsey. Buy a boat.
Ladies and gentlemen, fresh off of his latest book tour, I give you the financial genius of A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan and A Corporate Time, Ram Davesy.
How you doing, Ram?
I presume there was some sort of song. With my top hat, I cannot put your headphones on. Money is hard. It is heavy. And it is loud.
Turn down for what?
Heavy and loud. Heavy and loud. That's right.
It's
The
heavy and it is loud. Let's address Bitcoin.
Okay.
Is Bitcoin hard?
Yeah,
It is not.
Is it not?
Oh, I don't think it is it?
How many? Let's drop a data center on your toe. Let's use.
Yeah.
And that also implies hardness.
yeah,
Hard and
that's
heavy,
very
kind of
hard,
hand in
very
hand. There, your toes aching
Sure.
away.
Yeah.
And then, is it loud?
Yes, it is.
And also, if you put a number of data centers into a sack and jingled it, it would make it loud. The other standardized test.
Yeah, true.
So Bitcoin, Tom, is it money?
Well, based on that, yes.
It checks the boxes of the three main characteristics of money. Bitcoin, money. Yes, sir.
Ram Daisy. By a boat.
Thank you so much, Ram. We appreciate you
welcome.
being here.
It's got to be insanely rare because who have you ever known that's gotten?
I've never known a person.
Yeah.
Look up famous people with tetanus. Seriously, there's got to
I've
be
never even
somebody.
heard of anybody like getting tetanus or rabies for that matter.
It's an old world disease, right? You'd like to think that a lot of these are
It's
gone.
bullshit.
It's like when somebody comes in and it's like, my mom, the plague's still around. She got it on her foot. And I'm like, ew, what the fuck were you doing?
Yeah. How did
See,
that happen?
But like nobody famous, but like probably a
There
million
are
guys in the
famous
Midwest.
people, but they're like way old. You know what I mean? Like in the
Old man?
1920s,
Double
they
man?
died from tetanus.
Like Clint
They
Eastwood got it on his
died.
farm or something, but not like make a
Fred
movie.
Thompson.
Fred Thompson.
Who was a silent film cowboy actor.
Fred Thompson, the silent film cowboy.
That's you.
That's you.
That is you during
Well,
sex.
he's the loud boy cowboy. George Hogg.
That's me.
Have you ever heard of Fred Thompson and George Hogg?
Died of tetanus.
If you go to the Medium page right now, you'll see a picture of me when I was at my fattest, and I was George Hogg. I was so fucking fat. My God, I was fat. Go clown that photo.
right,
Andrea and I laughed in bed, so I was like, you didn't tell me shit. I told my wife, I go, you didn't tell me nothing.
I'm gonna post my meme of the month after the shows in case it makes you guys mad.
Okay. This is crazy. This is a concept I'd never seen before. I told Sam about it this morning. I'm just wandering through pornos, and there's a category I don't understand. And I know that's weird coming from me.
I can't believe you make porn all day and then you go home and watch porn.
I know,
That's
it's hard.
fucking crazy.
Yeah, I play Porn Simulator. So
Do you think porn stars watch porn?
Oh,
Yeah,
they have
yeah,
to.
100%.
They have to.
That's different in my mind because because
That's the exception. We found the exception.
Tom Van
porn.
versus Tom Van Go.
yeah. Well, because I guess it's kind of the same.
Tom Van wins. Tom Van wins.
Why did you crash it into the mouth?
For some reason, that's acceptable to me, but the other one isn't.
Dude, I just want to know, was it like a super quick argument or was it a
No.
long argument in a short space of time? Whatever happened in your head.
It's still going. I'm still figuring it out.
For years, I've been watching him, tracking him, studying his every move. I know his every mannerism, facial tick, gesture. I know him better than he knows himself.
Okay, follow me here.
Hi, me Seth. We're gonna tell you a couple stories, okay? You're gonna be impressed. Me tell you two stories, one good, one bad. Me tell you a good one, me promise you'll laugh. Wait, why me see chat room saying good ones seem kind of bad? Huh. One story good. One story bad. One story feel happy. One story me sad. One story me big hero. The next me douchebag. One story me good. Me really good. Me telling you this story good. One story me bad.
I'm sorry you talking like that is caught on. I'm sorry. It's my fault.
You to the end of time. Give a Georgia speeches, Georgia.
All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody on YouTube. Good morning, everybody on Twitch. How is everybody? We're getting ready. We got guests on the couch. We're starting back. Is it officially we're in the holidays, D-A-Z-E, right?
Heck yeah.
We're like most people are like, if you own a business, you're like Tom and I can see the hurricane shutters in our sights, right? We're batting them down, we're getting the emergency rations ready.
For a nice little break there.
Yeah, 30-pound bucket of mac and cheese.
What's interesting this year is that Christmas is on a Wednesday and also New Year's Day is on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
so it's in the middle of both weeks, these holidays, and so people don't know what to do. Like
I don't know what to do at Christmas on a Wednesday.
Yeah,
what am I gonna fucking do?
Like obviously, if you're not retail,
some places got to go back on Thursday. Or retail. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, retail has to. They're stuck. But for everybody else, it's like, well, do I make everybody work on Monday, the day before Christmas Eve, then take Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Why don't we
Friday?
take them all off?
Yeah,
just take them
the
all
whole
off.
week. And then,
no, I think if you honestly, that is the way I would play it. It's like if it's Wednesday and then Wednesday, then you lucked out. That's the best you can get. So now you get all the days off until we come back around on a Monday.
Yeah. But a lot of businesses are like, I can't take 2 weeks off.
I know.
Not if people expect to still get paid for like holiday or whatever. If everyone's willing to not get paid for 2 weeks, then maybe we can shut down for 2 weeks.
Correct.
No one wants that.
Hell no.
Yeah, especially when you're going broke because of Christmas.
Yeah.
Everybody you have to buy every goddamn family member some $50 gift card.
We stopped doing it.
You're like $900.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of money that is just absurd. And then it's like, what are we even doing at the end of the day when it's like adults? So one thing with your kids, but it's like you're getting all like, okay, you got to get your mom, and
they don't care about it either. You don't need to get it for them.
Your siblings, and then everybody's just exchanging.
Jeff Howe used to do that. I always thought he had that right.
Kids only.
Yeah, well, he
age out of getting gifts.
Yeah, he was like, you age out of getting gifts. He's like, if you're me, he's like, I'm a. At the time, he's been 50 for 50 years, Jeff Howe. So when I knew him, even at the radio station, he'd be like, no, I'm like a 50-year-old man. I don't need anything. I'll spend time with you guys, and then I'll buy gifts for the kids. Always made sense to me.
I mean, it does make sense.
Yeah, so even when he was working at the morning show, he'd bring like a gift for like Russ's son or something, a snack, kind of like you do.
Something nice.
Like we don't really eat these. We give these to the kids, really. So
anyway. Once you told me that, I was like, well, now I got to bring these guys stuff for
I
the
didn't
kids.
mean to do that.
I love that. No, I'm glad you did, though.
I fucked this up because that is Maisie's, shouldn't be cursing, that is Maisie's favorite pastry shop now is the Glass Knife.
And only the pastries, I got to say. The stuff that comes out of the kitchen is really mid.
But their pastries are good?
That's all good.
Are these considered a macaroon?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh my God, Mr. Fucking look at this. We got a ooh la la over here.
Don't like the name.
I don't like the name either.
I don't like the name
either. It's like macaroni, and it's nothing like
and
macaroni.
That makes you think wet ass pussy, right? Wow. That makes you think wow.
Makes you think.
It should be like a little cake cookie.
It is like
cookie cake.
Cakester.
That's why I was going to say. That's why he hates the name, is because macaroons are just cakesters.
They are just little
And this
cakesters.
Motherfucker was Mr. Macaroon. Or no, he was
Mr. Oreo
He was
Macaroon.
Castleberry Cakester is what they call it.
A cakester makes more sense.
Yeah.
Cake.
No, a macaroon is
Macaroon.
French. A macaroon is French.
Yeah.
Castleberry Cakester is a French macaroon.
It's the American version. Yeah.
Man, you're good.
There you go.
God, and we figured it all out.
It's like sparkling wine versus champagne.
Now, what you have are magaroons, which are hell yeah. All right, macaroons are magaroons. All right. We did enough damage. Would you like to begin?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Can you hear okay?
Yes.
All right, here we go. 3, 2.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. We are live on Twitch and YouTube, and we'd love for you to join us. The chat room is chatting and already giving us some of the old stick, as they would say, across the pond. But you can find us on YouTube at Tom and Dan Live or Twitch at Tom and Dan Live.
In studio with us to talk some movies is Chris Crespo. How
Hey,
you doing, Chris?
Hey, guys, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Very good to see you. Thank you for our Christmas macaroon.
You are very welcome.
Macaroon.
Delicious macaron.
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 He brought us.
It doesn't sound like a sweet treat.
He always brings us a sweet treat. preferably I wouldn't say preferably, but normally I feel like you bring it from the glass knife, which is quite expensive. I mean, this man, just between Chris Crespo and another person that comes on our show and does a bit, Mr. John Graham. You guys have spent in upwards of thousands of dollars on little sweet treats that you bring in. And Tom and I don't eat that because all we do is, Tom exercises and drinks, and I just drink. So we
that's
give,
how I need my calories through alcohol.
Right, we give those sweet treats to our family. So you have been feeding my daughter fresh buttery croissants for an entire year, and I appreciate that. Did we get anything for Mr. Crespo?
Yeah, we sent his Christmas card.
Oh, great! We got to get handed it to you.
Oh, sweet! Yeah, I can't. No, it's got to come in the mail. If it's not on with a postage, I don't find it real. If you just hand it to me,
Tom said that.
Yeah,
you got that one right. You got that one right.
It's more special through the mail.
Yeah,
a tremendous amount of effort was made to get this to you.
This passed through several hands for some reason. It was on a truck. We burnt gas to get it to me.
It may have been on a train. I like it when I go to mail stuff that's literally across town and they put it on a train to Jacksonville and back. You ever seen that?
Yes, or even on an airplane to
that.
out of state and back for whatever reason because has to go to whatever distribution
center. I love
the
waste of the post office. It's like, what happened to that package? It was going to DeLand, from Orlando to DeLand. We put it on a train and sent it to Jacksonville, and then we flew it back to DeLand.
We put it on a horse and sent it back.
Then a government employee that is dressed in a uniform.
A cool uniform, too.
Walked to, it could have drove, I guess.
My guy has a little car. He drives around.
Yeah. Well, it depends on if you have a mailbox near the street.
Have you seen the lady with the bike that pops out of her truck?
No, yeah.
In Baldwin, they got a lady that has a truck, and then out of the back of her truck, a tiny bike with packages. Like she has a package bike that pops out of her truck. No different than the Batmobile having like an escape pod.
Batmobile.
Yeah, it's like a little cycle. It's like an escape pod.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is pretty rad.
The mail cycle.
And she's super hot Spanish. Super hot Spanish. Oh my God.
The only thing that Daniel's neighborhood is less, good than mine is his mail delivery system is like apartments. I'm sorry.
No, you're right.
It's all in one place. It's all a bunch of boxes.
We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the room.
And that is
we don't have the room.
The only downgrade to fanciness is that my mailman has to go up to my door.
Which is fancier.
Yeah. He has to stop at the end of the block and then walk door to door because my mailbox is attached to my house.
That's
which
how
is
you know.
the
I used
ultimate.
to have that. I don't like it on the street.
Yeah.
I like you have to walk up and look my house in the eye to give me my packages.
But isn't the ultimate status symbol though more the mailboxes down the long driveway in the street?
Okay, that's called the Rick Ross.
Yeah.
You gotta
get a golf cart to go down to get your mail.
Mansion. Well said. Well said. The Atlanta
Mansion mailbox.
Yeah, I do love a good. Big Boy has that. Rick Ross has a lot of your Atlanta rappers have that and it's a winding. Right. It's a waste of concrete.
Yes.
It's winding, and they need a golf cart to go down there.
Yeah, exactly. Or the house workers.
I've always wanted to be so rich that I'm dressed sloppily I'm in a golf cart to go get my my mail. That'd be awesome.
It's behind you don't let the mailman behind the gates.
No.
Yes.
You have to leave it at the front.
The gate better.
You don't want him to see the baby oil.
Yeah, because I don't look at my windows.
All right.
So
what are we getting into today? We doing movies?
Let's talk movies. Now, me and Daniel both actually watched a movie since the last time. I watched one this past Friday. I went to the movie theater. Daniel watched an old
man movie.
What is it, from the 50s?
1954. I'm on brand because, I have a new addiction, and I'm like, this is what should prove to everybody that I have a crazy addictive personality. The Pinball Dudes, pinballdudes.net, they brought us this Godzilla pinball machine.
It looks awesome.
My entire family's addicted to it. My wife's addicted to it. My wife bought liquor and walked over here to play it one night. We'll get into that at some point. Yeah, there's a bottle of wine in there. There's not even mine. My wife that doesn't even drink was walking over here drinking wine and playing pinball.
That's awesome.
So I got addicted to this Godzilla pinball machine, and then I was like, where can I watch the original Godzilla movies? Like if I wanted to watch them, because this one, for all intents and purposes, I was having people tell me, it was like, oh yeah, this is almost like an Akira Kurosawa movie, or this is a historical movie that you should at least watch once. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll watch the original 1954 Godzilla. And I got to tell you, it's pretty darn good.
It holds up pretty well.
It does. It's quick. It's only like an hour and 28 minutes long, or an hour and
short.
Yeah, you can rip right through it. And for the time of 1954, the special effects and the acting, I thought was I thought it was pretty darn amazing that they were able to pull that off.
Still pretty watchable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, this is the one where they actually had people in suits and miniature, like, scale cities.
Some of it was puppetry. Some of it was just a hand that would just come out of the water. It was very rudimentary, but I will tell you, and Maisie agreed, because it's shot in 1954 and because the cameras aren't HD, there are some scenes of the city burning that are straight terrifying because it looks like it. I don't know.
It looks like a city burning.
It looks like I don't even know how to describe it. In fact,
I think it is actually a miniature city burning.
Shot on film.
So if you go with what Tom's saying, let's analyze that. You're shooting it on film, which we all know is better.
Yep.
And then you're actually burning something. It's not a digital representation. It's not stupid AI, which maybe that's why I wanted to watch this movie. It's like I'm so AI'd out.
It's so pre-computers.
Give me something that's real, and it really did. I'm not even lying. The whole family, Andrea watched it. Everybody watched it. We're like, that's not bad.
It's a fascinating example of something that can hold up 70 years later. It can still do the thing it was meant to do when it came out in '54.
It has a great anti-war and anti-nuclear message.
Anti-atomics. Yeah,
it has a huge anti-weaponry message. The characters are pretty cool. Jay Leno's in it with his eye patch. No, I'm kidding. The brother who is, well, you'll get to it, and he makes a discovery. It's worth watching.
It's really cool.
It's definitely worth watching. The only drawback I would say is that it is black and white, but
that kind of adds to it though, because with it being black and white, I think you can sort of hide the effects more, and things just look a little more impressive. It looks almost more like newsreel footage than a movie.
Oh, you nailed it. It's the scenes, and they're in the pinball machine. So if you ever play the Pinball Dudes Godzilla Pinball, the opening scene is a wave of fire that's kind of blowing across a city, and it looks like it's killing everything. That's just animation. What they did is they
hand drew on the film.
They hand drew it, and it was real fire plus hand drawn animation. So they were throwing everything. The Toho Studios, pretty cool.
Yeah. Similarly with
pretty cool
with King Kong, which came out 20 years before Godzilla, I think, 1933. The original King Kong, you watch that, and it's like, wow, a lot of this really holds up. It's a fast-paced movie, especially when they get to the end. It's a fast-paced movie.
That's the part I was going to bring up. I loved how quick it was. Yeah, you mean an hour 28? I could get a whole Godzilla movie? Boom.
Yeah, every scene is about the movie. There's no, like, yeah, it's crazy. And King Kong is similarly fast, and, like, just the way they make Kong move, and he fights dinosaurs and giant snakes and pterodactyls and stuff. And then if you're paying attention, then there are still like people who are actors but very small in the scene. They're doing so many film tricks that are like lost to time because we've learned new ways to do things and quote better ways, but they did things back then that people struggle to recreate now.
They did
just
that
because they don't know how they did it back then. 1933.
They did that in Godzilla. There's one scene, and you'll know what I'm talking about, Chris, where it's like they cut the. Imagine you're staring at the screen and then cut it from the right top corner in a diagonal. So the left corner is going to be the puppet of Godzilla, and the right bottom corner is real footage of people running down a hill.
Yeah.
And they just split the footage.
Yeah, it's a brilliant composite, yeah.
Yeah, you can completely tell what they're doing, but it does still work. Like it does still work, and then it makes you think of how creative they were having to be because they didn't have all this. I mean, it's very easy, and I make no bones about the fact I can go to AI right now, write any words I want into it, and it's going to make a beautiful song. I don't really. That's nothing.
And they just released the video component Sora, the one that
I've been using it.
They just released that to the public too. So I mean, it's so easy to write giant monster destroys a city, and you'll be able to start seeing that stuff. But then what's the fun in that? Where someone just whipped up in 10 seconds versus a team of like 100 people working for 8 months with their hands making this thing that looks pretty cool.
Another thing that's, because I started digging into this Godzilla movie, and we'll move on to other movies too, but just real quick, I thought this was kind of interesting. It was one of those times where I believe that the Toho company, they were such an inspirational or like such a good movie company that they went to the Japanese government and said, yo, we've got this thing we want to do, and they were so well respected that the actual Japanese army and the Coast Guard gave them they were able to use a lot of real stuff. Like real boats and real
that's a big get when you're trying to make a movie.
They were working cohesively. Yeah. Now it's not necessarily themed as like a propaganda movie. They don't like to really say that because it's not really the message I guess at the end of the day was very anti-nuclear.
Yes,
which is fine. Like that's not really war. That's more about like, hey, we have this energy. Let's control it and be smart.
Yeah, don't bomb our cities anymore, please.
Yeah,
that was bad.
It was really interesting how they did take a like a kind of a cohesive, and you don't really see that anymore. Like you don't see like sometimes you do. I guess Top Gun maybe they did.
Oh yeah, they for sure got military cooperation to get their message
but
across.
I think that's kind of cool when you get the real.
Yep.
Like my long-winded point is that it did make the movie better because they were using real stuff.
It's added production value. They don't have to fake it as much. Yeah,
absolutely,
for sure. And I will say real quick to end the Godzilla conversation, the last 2 Godzilla movies that came out are both well worth watching if you're into Godzilla. Shin Godzilla came out like 5 years ago. The story-wise part, it's a little boring. It's a lot of people in conference rooms discussing what to do. The angle of that movie is what if Godzilla happened, like 1954, but how does a city respond to it on a bureaucratic level and on an operational
level? Like it were a
level.
pandemic or something.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. But what's really cool about it is the Godzilla design and how the creature evolves throughout the movie and the effects of Godzilla. It's a mix of computers and puppets, and it's really fascinating. The one that just came out, Godzilla -1, that's now on Netflix. There's the regular version. There's also a black and white version if you're into that. Is so worth watching, even if you're not that into Godzilla. My girlfriend Marissa, who doesn't watch these movies, I took her to see Godzilla -1 in a theater, and she was like on the edge of her seat by the end of the movie. She was so into it. She loved it. And I highly recommend that film. Absolutely. I mean,
chat room is jumping up and down, exactly
so
saying
good.
what you're saying about Godzilla, Shin, and -1.
Yeah.
They're saying those 2 movies. They're like put them in the queue, and you have to watch.
Shin Godzilla is great if you want to check out a Godzilla movie. Godzilla -1 is just a great movie.
All right,
it's really good.
Perfect, good way to start.
I watched Moana too.
Hey,
I've heard good things about it. The only thing that I've heard weird about this, and I'm interested to see your take.
Yeah.
What did you think of it musically?
Not as good.
Interesting.
Because Lin-Manuel Miranda was not involved in this one.
Yeah.
And
so no more rapping George Washington.
But you can't argue that the guy isn't talented, obviously. And I know he's got a particular style that you can recognize.
He's super talented.
But the music was definitely took a hit in Moana 2.
Yeah. Well, they had Jelly Roll write all the songs. Which
no.
I thought that was a really weird.
That was a weird choice. I didn't know that.
All Jelly Roll. So Moana's very sad the whole time, and she's trying to borrow money, and she's also addicted to fentanyl.
And seeking redemption. Yeah.
Very, she's very large.
Very
now.
sad.
She ballooned between the 2 movies.
Now, my sons, they said they liked it just as good as Moana 1, but they don't know. I know what's better. Moana 1's better. It's true.
He's the best.
That's awesome.
You're the best.
He knows the truth.
You're like, look, you idiots, you don't know nothing. Moana 1's
You'll see it when you get older. You'll learn.
But it's fine, and it's it's fine. But
so
Moana 1 is better. But everybody knew that. And no one expects.
I don't think anyone.
To be better.
I don't even think anyone out there is really. I mean, outside of maybe kids, people aren't really expecting it to be better. The whole Lin-Manuel Miranda not being a part of it was like expected. Also, everyone knew. Weirdly, we all knew that it was a streaming. It was made for Disney Plus. Whether it was supposed to be a series or a direct to Disney Plus movie, I'm not sure, but it was meant for a streaming service as opposed to a movie. And then as it was being developed, like we can, for 2 reasons, this is good enough, I think we can turn to a movie, and also we have a lack of product for next year because of the writer's strike that happened, the 2 strikes that happened last year. They're like, well, now we need movies for theaters, we'll switch this one to theatrical. And then why not? We'll make an extra $500 million, $750 million. Who knows how much money this movie is going to make when it's all said and done, on top of then it being a property that they can exploit on streaming, et cetera, et cetera. So theatrical only made sense in the beginning anyway. Yeah.
And did you notice anything? Like you went to the theater.
Yeah.
The boys liked it. What did Crystal think? I mean, she's pretty harsh critic when it comes to movies.
The same as me. It was fine. It's definitely not as good as the first one, but I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
do we get any of the characters without spoiling anything? Do we get any of the characters that we like? We don't get any because seeing Jermaine from Flight of the Conchords singing "Shiny," I feel like blew a lot of people out of the water. Like it was one of those things where actually you saved that for me. Because you always watch movies ahead of me, and you're like, oh, you know who that is. You were telling me years ago. You're like, there's a character in here that you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
And you were right. Is there anything like that? I guess
no. That's why
because you called that one for me because you know my humor, and you're like, oh, knowing that guy's going to be in the movie, you're like, oh, you're going to love that.
Also, The Rock sings, and I know he did. I'm not sure if he actually sung the last time or if it was just like a.
He did.
Okay.
Like, I see what's happening.
Okay, yeah.
He talk singing sort of.
Yeah, he does. He does another talk song.
My name is The Rock, and I sing like this. I sing like a dad on Broadway. Right? He's a Broadway dad.
Yeah.
He does another talk song, and just not as good as I see what's happening here.
But does he do the whole thing where he's like, I've got to do or maybe that's a Lin-Manuel.
That's probably Lin-Manuel.
That's the Lin-Manuel,
yeah,
right? The
that's
rapping.
the Lin-Manuel touch, the rapping, yeah.
So he
Although
needs
just
the rapping.
copy that. There's lots of talented
Lin,
people.
you don't lock down the rapping, Lin. You're not the king rapper of Broadway Island.
The Broadway rapper,
Just get someone to mimic what Lin-Manuel does.
I just did it.
Doesn't seem that hard when you do it like that.
And they kind of
You're welcome.
They kind of try to do kind of what they did for the one, and then you could tell they're like, we'll do a little bit of a dabba-dabba-doo. Give them
the zabba-doo-dabba-doo. Wait, don't say it like that. That's
not as
racist.
good. All right.
Do his tattoos come to life?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Okay. Does the grandma return?
I mean, I'm not going to spoil it.
Oh, that's a yes.
Just imagine.
Is she bad this time?
Just imagine.
Is she bad this time? I wish the grandma would return and go like, I want to see Maui's pecker. See,
why would she say that?
Because it'd be a movie.
Because we're scaling up. It's a sequel.
That would be a movie.
Bigger, crazier.
That'd be a really good movie.
That would be good.
All right, Chris, let's get into it. So what do we want to talk about first?
Well, I did see, I think you saw this too. Actually, I know all three of you saw this since last time I was here. I did see Wicked Part 1.
Yes.
Which made a ton of money and broke all sorts of box office records for movies based on a Broadway musical. It's the biggest movie for all the actors involved. Ariana Grande is now the only pop star turned actor who has $100 million opening weekend, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And
I just saw her hand tattoos for the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Google Ariana Grande's hand tattoos. Those are aggressive. That's an aggressive choice.
What is it? What's on it?
I mean, they're like, I have hand tattoos, right? Like it's a weird choice to have hand tattoos. Let me be upfront.
Yeah.
Also I have hand tattoos, so I feel like I can talk about
Sure,
them.
yeah.
Hers are 10 times more bikery than mine could ever. Like she has straight up simple bikery. I mean, all over her hands.
Like Flaming 8 like Dr. Seuss or
Flaming 8
Ball.
She's got Glinda. She's got Glinda the Good Wit. They're aggressive and dark.
You would think that,
and she's so skinny. It's just a weird.
She's teeny tiny.
Yeah. She's a little
goodness.
fairy baby.
Yeah.
As an actress, you wouldn't want to go through the pain in the ass of make-upping your hands at every future movie you're ever going to do.
I think she is her own person. I don't think she cares.
and now they
just
can.
For yourself.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I wouldn't have done it. Especially if I looked like her and wanted to do Broadway, I wouldn't have these tattoos.
Well, Broadway,
if I were a Broadway Danny, I wouldn't have any tattoos.
Yeah, Broadway
Not
would mean
one.
makeup. But for movies now, they can just CG that stuff out. People's tattoos can easily be CG'd out now.
Yeah, it's easier, but it's just it is a more
it's more money.
Process.
It just costs this production an extra $400,000 in CG
They're very
work.
again. The chat room kind of nailed it. They're very doodly.
Which
is like the new style. Maybe I'm just showing my age.
It's kind of like what's her name? Miley Cyrus's tattoo. She has them on the bottoms of her arms. So when she holds her arms up, you can see them, and it's just like a bunch of little doodle stuff.
Yeah,
like tiny little things.
just little things that mean something to her.
Yeah.
So Chris, I saw that Wicked is gonna possibly be nominated for Best Picture.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's very well reviewed. We made a ton of money. That's the Titanic recipe for at least getting nominated and being noticed by people at the Oscars. Oscar voters are still just people who only see themselves or a handful of movies a year tops. So if something makes a ton of money like this, then you can expect that people have seen it. A lot of people have seen it, and they'll be likely to at least vote for it to be nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, et cetera, et cetera. Probably songs, most likely. It'll probably win song stuff. I mean, it's a well-liked movie.
Yeah. It was good. I enjoyed it.
I liked it too. I'm not into Wicked or movie musicals necessarily, but I wasn't bored watching it. I love Jeff Goldblum and the design of the Oz head, that room with the giant gold head and the flames and all that. Was very impressive. That was very cool.
When I was at the movie theater on Friday, I noticed something new that I hadn't seen at the movie theaters. In the queue and the line for concessions, they have
British now.
They had
in the queue, I noticed something a bit peculiar.
Queued up for my snacks at the cinema.
I noticed something peculiar in the queue tonight. It was me lift. Where's me umbrella?
I don't know why I said that.
Because he thinks he's better than us now. He's in these fitness competitions. He got Dick Van Dyke over here. Thinks he's a British real man.
Have you seen an old Dick Van Dyke? He's 99.
99,
He just
yeah.
turned 99.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And it's weird because he looks like...
he looks like David Letterman. Tell me, you seen him in the same room?
You shaved David Letterman.
You've seen him in the same room? You won't find them in the same room.
Yeah.
So, but they started selling like movie
merch,
yeah, on tables in the line, and so they would just
you can buy like an Elphaba hat.
No, like Moana plastic toys, like Mufasa, because Mufasa's coming out.
I've seen like Funko Pops that are related to our movies out. Yeah,
they're selling merchandise,
and then often I swear at that theater anyway how this started, because I go to that theater all the time. They started putting out a table out there with, when they advertise this now, and this is kind of big for the last couple of years, a movie has a specialty popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like the Wolverine one that you put your ding dong in.
Yes, exactly. Or I think it's Cinemark has a Coliseum-shaped popcorn bucket for Gladiator 2.
Yeah,
you
can put your ding dong in.
You can put your ding dong in.
Yeah, all of them. That was the big thing. It's like, hey, you guys...
That was the Dune bucket.
I told my wife that I like ruining everything. Everybody's like, oh, you seen the collectible ping pong bucket?
The pinball bucket.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, yeah, great.
By the way...
More trash for me to put my ding dong in.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Ding dong trash.
Yeah,
terrific.
That is what it is. But I feel like they had a bunch of overstock that was behind the counter that people weren't buying, so they just threw that on the table out in front, and I think
that's what we do at our BDM events. Yeah, $10 shirt rack.
Yeah, $5 shirts. Get them out of here. Yeah, they're just getting rid of old merch.
By the way,
think it works.
Once you get into your 40s, that ding dong trick, it will be impossible. You're gonna just feel a gummy worm down there. You better be quick. All right.
You got us, Grandpa. Let's all go to breakfast. Anybody want to go to breakfast?
Let's go.
We make one dad joke and let's all drive to breakfast.
Let's go get some
22-minute show.
What's eggs? Eggs?
Biscuit and gravy.
So, but I'm surprised they weren't selling movie merchandise before. Yeah. Because when I saw this, I was like, it's all plastic garbage made in China.
Yeah.
And they make an unlimited amount of this. And I'm like, my sons were like, they were looking around at it. And I'm like, so many kids are going to get like, I want this Moana boat or whatever.
And then you'll just say yes to it and sell it.
And you're already in line showing that you're willing to pay like $8 for a bucket of popcorn. So why not throw some classic merch in there as well?
I'm just surprised they waited this long to do it. It may be some sort of licensing rights or something.
Maybe,
they just changed.
It's weird.
Or
someone finally smartened up. Was like, let's get some more stuff here that people can buy.
So one of the pieces of merch that I saw on the table was Lord of the Rings. And then Crystal was like, oh, wait a minute. Are they making a new Lord of the Rings movie? I'm like, yes, they are. And
are you pumped about it?
Well,
you like those, right? Like that's been something you've enjoyed.
I enjoyed them all. Yeah,
the first ones I loved. I didn't do, and everybody's been telling me to do it. The first Lord of the Rings is one of the only movies that I loved, and then I bought on DVD or Blu-ray. I may have bought it on Blu-ray.
Wow, nice.
And I loved it.
It looks beautiful.
And I would rewatch. Yeah, it looks amazing. Is there? What about the show? Everybody said get on the show. It's great. It's great.
I couldn't get into the show. I watched the first season of it.
Not good.
I just thought it was okay. And then when the second season debuted earlier this year, I never clicked play. I still haven't. Maybe I'll watch it one day. I don't know, but it just didn't grab me like I wanted it to. And I do like Lord of the Rings. And there's the anime is out right now. I think it just came out this weekend. Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim. They always have these words. Don't you want people to see your movie? Use
War of the Rohirrim.
Yeah, exactly.
Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rohirrim. The round rim of Rohirrim.
If you say it British, it sounds better. The Rohirrim. It looks good. It looks like a cool anime version of Lord of the Rings. It is a surprisingly durable property, IP, whatever you want
Yeah.
to call it. Like, it's easy to make more stories out of this world and all these characters and all this stuff.
Is it a completely different story, or is it a sequel or prequel to the first?
I think it's like separate from the Lord of the Rings trilogy as we know it. Maybe a prequel of some sort. Who knows? Hundreds of years, thousands of years. There's probably a ring involved. There's an army. There's a castle. You get the gist. It's Lord of the Rings.
Hold on, I'm writing this down.
Ring,
He started with
army.
ring.
Put us onto AI. We'll write our own Lord of the Rings right now.
Yeah. Some sort of monsters that are brewed in the Middle Earth.
Yeah, I love those.
They come up out of the ground.
I don't
yeah.
think they get enough like love. The ones that are like the ugly, shiny black monsters.
The big ugly ones, the
Yeah,
orcs.
Those
Yeah.
are awesome.
Yeah,
They're cool.
They're intense looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then practical effect back in 2000 when they made those original Lord of the Rings movies. Even though there's a lot of CG relative to the time, a lot of costumes, a lot of makeup, like really cool looking.
Not a lot of nudity in the Lord of the Rings.
No,
movie.
very strong lack of nudity.
I like
sure.
I like how the orcs they're built like they're 6'6", 380, full
Yeah.
a bodybuilder.
Like Kyle Pitts.
yeah.
Like seriously, they're gigantic.
They're all huge.
Yeah, with forged in by the
fires of hell.
The fires of
Yeah,
hell.
the force
right?
of the fires of hell.
I mean, they look tough as hell,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then one skinny white dude with a beard can kill 50
Yeah,
of them.
well, all he has to do
Yeah,
is
with,
like
with
hit
a
his
sword, with a staff.
Yeah, he puts his staff down, and then a little bit of lightning, and these guys are running for the hills.
Yeah.
Typical Kyle Pitts.
So
Lazy.
back to the awards, and I was looking at Best Pictures, and I saw Wicked there, but I also saw a couple movies that I don't remember if we ever talked about.
Okay.
One was named The Brutalist.
Ah, yes.
So what is that?
Sounds terrible.
I just saw the trailer for that this past weekend. I've been hearing about this movie since the summer. The Brutalist.
It's like the follow-up to Elf, right?
Yes, it's Elf, the Brutalist. The title is in reference to the architecture style, brutalism architecture, which is just means exposed concrete or whatever. It's like Russian, Soviet-style architecture. And the library downtown, the Orlando, the big library, the big concrete building.
Orange County Library.
That's brutalist architecture. A building looks like that. So it's it's an epic movie that it clocks in at 215 minutes. So that's 3 hours and 45 minutes.
So this is not like Godzilla. This is not a
quick get in, get out.
snappy
No.
watch.
3 hours and 45 minutes?
Yes.
My God.
So
Dare I say that's brutal.
And it is a brutal movie. You got to be careful with a title like that because if the critics don't like it, they'll use that title against
The
you.
snooze.
Well, it's up for best
Yes,
picture.
no, people like the critics like it so far. So what it is? It's a Adrian Brody, Guy Pearce. They started, and it's a movie that starts with Adrian Brody as a Holocaust camp survivor. He emigrates to America and he becomes an architect and he becomes like a leading groundbreaking architect, and then he meets Guy Pearce plays another character, and then from there what happens I don't know. But immediately when this movie debuted, I think at the Cannes Film Festival, maybe Venice, people were calling it the next American masterpiece. Like, this is the best movie since The Godfather is what people are saying.
What?
I know. The reviews for it
Sorry, I
are...
didn't mean to scream like
they're
that.
over the top. Like, guys, relax. Give us a chance to make our own assessment of it before you pump it up to be the greatest thing ever.
That's a huge thing to say.
It's such a huge thing. And then I just saw
So
a trailer
a
for it.
Holocaust survivor
Yeah.
moves to the United
Gets-
States
yep.
and becomes an architect,
Become-
and this is 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, he's
why?
really good. He's
Ex-
a really. You should see some of his buildings.
Exactly. What makes it so special?
Mystifying.
Why is that so good? And then I will
Well, I
say
would
this.
imagine that he takes some of his sadness of being a Holocaust survivor
having to go through that,
and
yeah.
channels a lot of that into his designs,
Into
and
his
then
art.
he struggles with the fact that people find his designs encouraging, but yet he's just maybe only all he can do is channel his sadness.
This can't
And
be
he's
that good.
conflicted. He's conflicted.
Let's
by
see,
that.
why do we need 3.5 hours?
Right?
You
I
just
think I
nailed
figured
it.
it
You just
out.
nailed it in 30
Right. I
seconds.
think he's conflicted that people love this sort of stuff, but all he's doing is maybe echoing some of the tragedies
of his own pain
of
and
his
suffering.
own pain and suffering. Yeah.
I will say that I did see. Well, first off, okay, so to adjust the length.
What do you want me to? You were looking for ChatGPT to tell you something.
I just
I
wanted
can
to,
see it.
I wanted to read one review that someone wrote
Sure.
on Brutalist. What are
on
they
Rotten,
saying?
on Rotten Tomatoes, you can find little blurbs. They're saying that it is an epic. It is a huge story. It's extremely well made. And that people were just shocked. It came out of nowhere this summer at the film festivals, and people were absolutely blown away. Also, with it being so long, it has an intermission, which I think is huge. That's almost a game changer in terms of convincing people to see a movie like this. It'll have an intermission where you can get up, stretch your legs, go outside, hit the Benjamin button, get a drink, go back inside, relax. I've experienced a few movies like that with a intermission like that. Hateful Eight, I think, was the last time I went and saw a really long movie that stopped in the middle and gave you time to put yourself together. And it's great. It's a fantastic experience. So that helps a lot.
Who has 4 hours? Because with previews,
I do. I'm raising my hand immediately. I do.
You're like, you know what I'm gonna do? On a Tuesday. When I get off work, I'll go to the movies.
Maybe not on a Tuesday after work.
Get out at 11 p.m. at night.
No, I'll go Saturday at noon. All right,
the whole day.
It'll be my afternoon. Yes, I'll even get dinner afterwards.
It's a lot of artsy stuff. Yeah, they're in here. They describe that it is shot in VistaVision.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What does that mean?
It's old school, super widescreen film.
Yeah,
that just looks incredible, and it's just a preferred format. The way the movie looks, it looks very wide.
It's meant for they're throwing all the art at it, dude. The reason that it's getting heralded is because they're like, let's take this and make this the hardest thing to film ever.
Yeah, this is a huge, beautiful movie in a way, almost like we were talking about, that they don't make movies like this anymore type of way. And then I will say, I did then see the trailer for this past weekend. And the trailer is not a conventional trailer at all. It's worth looking up at some time, if you're really interested in seeing how they try to sell this thing. And there's only one word they use to describe. You know how sometimes for marketing they'll show blurbs of critics. Critics say it's a spectacular film, blah, blah, acting, whatever. They only use one word that they apparently pulled from 6 different reviews, and it's monumental. And that's how they're describing the film. And then it shows this as the brutalist, and it even says on the title card, in VistaVision, as if people know what that means. But I guess it just triggers something in your brain. Oh, they're doing something different with this film. So I'm interested. It's going to be long. I'm pretty sure it'll be R-rated. How is it going to be positioned in terms of box office? What is the ceiling for a movie like this? 20 million, 25 million total box office? I don't see it making that much, but what if it is that good and for whatever reason it strikes a chord and it does make 50, 60, 80 million? I mean, that's one of the more fascinating things, I think, with a movie like this coming out. Is it more than just the awards? A24 picked it up for distribution, so.
You're definitely going to this.
No.
Yeah, your wife will make you go.
No. She likes to see weirdo bird movies and big fatso.
I still haven't seen that. It's on Max. I still haven't seen
Fatso Fly.
Oh, I love Big Fatso Flies.
Is that what you call the whale now?
It's Brendan Fraser.
It's Big Fatso Flies.
Yeah.
I would go to see it if you'd have told me that the whale was called, much like Free Willy, if you'd said, and you'll love Big Fatso Flies, I'd be there.
Oh,
I would have gone to see that.
That sounds more
Speaking of A24, is it
A24?
Anora? That's another one I saw.
Yeah, I didn't get out to the theater to see this. I wish I did. Anora is a movie by Sean Baker, who is the guy who did the Florida Project. You guys might remember that one from a few years ago.
That uplifting
Super
movie.
Uplifting, awesome movie.
Yeah,
makes Kissimmee look great. It's Kissimmee. I mean, what do you expect?
Wasn't that the movie of all homeless kids? Right?
A bunch of homeless kids that live in motels in the 192 area down by Disney. He did that, and his last movie he did was I think it's called, I forgot what it's called. But he makes these little character films that look great. And this Anora movie is about a lady who's she works in a strip club. She's a dancer, and she meets a young Russian kid who's like a Russian gangster, and he pays for her to be his girlfriend, and then they eventually just get married, and then she finds out who he really is, and then it just goes south from there.
They meet a bird.
And then they meet a bird, and the bird's like,
and then the stripper has to eat the bird. And then she becomes the devil stripper murderer.
Did you ever end up watching?
I said I haven't. I've yet to watch it. I've yet to watch it. I want to watch it.
Remember at the beginning of the year when everybody was like, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is going to win an Oscar because she eats the devil bird. Remember that? Everybody was saying it. They're like,
we're all hyped for JLD.
I think we used I think we said monumental.
Monumental. You got to be careful.
You got to be careful.
You got to be careful with that hyperbole.
Yeah, man.
So are there any other movies that you watched recently you want to tell us about? Or
Well, I did see Gladiator 2. That movie is super entertaining.
Andrea's mom saw Gladiator 2, and she said, "Haba, haba."
I mean, it's full.
I'm not kidding.
It's full of hot
Andrea's
dudes, for
mom
sure.
watched it and said that is a smoke show
Yeah,
of a movie.
yeah. A lot of shirtless Paul Mescal just ripped the whole time.
She loved it. I think she really Andrea's mom loves a good. Give me an adventure ride.
Yeah,
you know,
and give
me a Jurassic Park.
It's a fun movie. It's
Yeah.
again, it goes fast. It has a lot of cool
I bet your
action
boys would
sequences.
like it,
They would be shocked by some of the things that happen in this movie. The only thing that holds it back is that there's a lot of use of animals, and all the animals are CG. Almost all of them are CG.
So we got to get back to whipping them.
Yeah, we got to get the baboons out there,
you know
whip
why?
them, make
'Cause
them
the
mad.
CG, I can tell.
That's the thing. It just because everything else is so dusty and real, and
Why can't you just get them on set for one day, 3 whips, and then do the rest CGI?
Because people like my wife will
they get mad
ruin
about it.
Yeah,
I know.
She'll be like, you can't see that.
We need more whipping it and less gay Denzel.
Yeah.
Wasn't Denzel a gay maniac in this movie? Wasn't he? He couldn't be stopped, right? Wasn't he freaking out?
He came across more pansexual for sure, where he was like, some days I like this and some days I like that. They make jokes about it throughout the movie.
I'm like that.
It's pretty
so.
funny.
It's just can't fault a man for
it's
being
just that
spicy.
Roman lifestyle, man.
Yeah,
You
man.
know, when in Rome
There's
is
a better
literally
way.
the phrase.
It was a better way.
But Denzel is fantastic because he is just doing Denzel. He's just going training day, like having a good time, put on all the charm, not bothering to do any sort of accent. Everyone just speaks with their normal. It's Rome. Paul Mescal's using his Irish accent. People are using American accents. For some reason, this one Australian lady is talking in an American accent. It's weird, but people are just doing whatever voices they want to do, which is a lot of fun. It really tells you that. Don't worry about
I would do
historical
Homer
accuracy.
Simpson.
Just
I would do
enjoy
Homer
the movie.
Simpson as my
Ridley Scott would have let you do that probably, as long as you didn't.
Yeah.
As long as you didn't
Why
dough
are
it
you
up.
doing that?
He's like, that's your choice. Okay, fine, go ahead, go for it.
I'm
It's
feeling
all good. It's all
Homer-y.
good. Yeah, but it's super fun, super entertaining movie. I really like that. And then I liked Wicked. And then I saw a movie this past weekend called the new Daniel Craig movie called Queer, which is a fascinating film. It's an adaptation of a William S. Burroughs novel of the same name. It's set in 1950s Mexico, and he plays an expat American. So Craig doing an American accent, which is little. And it's okay.
Gotcha.
He sounds like Brian Cox doing an American accent. Anyway, he plays a writer who himself is gay, and he's in Mexico just bar hopping and picking up guys and doing whatever. And then he meets a young man who he ends up falling in love with. And
so it's just a love story.
No, it's not a love story. He falls in love with the guy, but the guy doesn't fall in love with him. So it becomes him trying to sort of convince him, trying to woo him a bit. And then they also take a trip to South America to look for some sort of telepathy drug that he's reading about. Eventually they reveal his heroin use because it's a William S. Burroughs novel.
Okay.
So there wouldn't be Burroughs without heroin use at some point.
Heavily drug
Yes.
influence.
If anyone's seen Naked Lunch, they know that his writings tend to get very strange, and if you try to represent it cinematically, it gets weird. And it is a very weird movie that I like quite a bit. It's made by the guy who made that Zendaya movie earlier this year, Challengers, and it also has a Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross soundtrack, which is very, very cool. Not the same style, but very, very interesting.
You know what? I actually listened to a little bit of that soundtrack without even knowing that was the
It's from the-
accompanying
yeah,
movie.
it's from the movie. Yeah.
I'm certainly more of a music guy than I am.
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'll load
Yeah.
up a soundtrack now and again, even if it's Atticus Finch and Trent Reznor. I'm in.
Their soundtracks are fantastic.
Andrea loves.
Have you heard their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
It's unbelievable.
It's like it's just an album. It's so good.
Yeah,
I love that soundtrack. But yeah, it's a pretty cool, very interesting drama. Kind of a sad ending, spoiler alert, but whatever.
Sounds like it got a Dallas Buyers Club kind of a vibe to it.
Kind of, yeah, sort of. It's beautiful to look at. I feel like most of the movie was shot either during the hour around sunrise or sunset.
Ooh, golden hour.
Yeah, the magic hour.
Man.
I feel like a lot of outdoor scenes were shot that way. It looks incredible. Interesting film. Take the kids to see it.
Anything on streaming? Anything on streaming we should look out for right now?
I wanted to watch. I just saw it came out this weekend. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. On Max, there's a movie called Juror Number 2, and it's Clint Eastwood's newest movie as a director. And actually, I mean, guy's 94 years old, probably his last
Look at
movie.
this chair. Remember we was yelling at the chair?
Yeah. It was Invisible Obama he was yelling at.
I'm yelling at you, Obama. I'm pretending you're in a chair.
That was like 20
I'm an
years
old
ago.
man.
That's crazy.
That's what we thought he was old then.
He was
And now
old
he's
man
directing
then.
movies. Oh God, I bet this thing is great.
He's directed like
Is
6
he
movies
really
since
directing?
then.
He's more of like a Bobby Bowden, right? Like he's just standing on set and people are making the decisions.
Yeah,
he ain't doing nothing.
Well, he moves fast. He famously, as a director, moves fast, and he's like he'll even
because he's gonna die at any minute.
Yeah, but maybe he felt that way since the 70s. But he's like, for his actors, he won't give them more than 1, maybe 2 takes. And sometimes his actors will be like, can we rehearse a scene first before we do a take? He's like, yeah, sure, rehearse it. And then he'll tell the cameraman to roll. They'll do the rehearsal, and then they'll be like, okay, we got to move on. And they'll just use the rehearsal footage instead of an actual take.
He literally only has so much time
Well,
left.
now,
It
Like
could
you're
be
actually
6
watching the
months.
movie. It's for him. It's an experience.
He could die before it finishes
Yeah.
because he's at the end of the human lifespan.
Absolutely, but this one made it. He made it to the end of this one. It came out. It got a limited theatrical release, despite it being well reviewed, which is weird. And now it's on Max, and it's Nicholas Hoult is the lead, and it's about a guy who gets assigned to a jury to some sort. I don't know what the trial is, but the facts that start coming out in the trial, he realizes that it's him that they're talking about, that this person is on trial for a crime that he committed. So as the juror, he has to like try to figure out what to do and how to, I guess, sway people to find the person guilty, even though they're not.
I can do that. Yeah. I can make anybody guilty of the things I've done,
especially if you're on the inside. So I just find it interesting. This guy's in his 90s. Gladiator, Ridley Scott. He's 86 years old. He just made that. He already has lined up another movie called Dogs of War, I think, and then he's working on Gladiator 3 right after that.
As soon as all of our heralded and like legacy directors and producers die, all of our movies 20 seconds apiece.
Well, no,
because everybody's so young now. You know what I mean? Like the attention span. Like once these old cats are gone, we're not going to get any more of these epics. We're going to get like, hey.
I don't know. I think the guy who made The Brutalist isn't that old.
Oh, is he a young guy?
I think he might be a younger guy. There's always going to be a new generation of pretentious dudes who are like, no, people are going to want to see my 5-hour Czechoslovakian prison epic for sure.
For sure.
Let's end with this because every year, and let's talk a little about Christmas movie classics. Every time
Jingle Smells, our buddy Logan. I'm gonna put that one out there. I always give him some love.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Sure,
right?
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, every time I saw it on cable, I'd watch it.
It's hard to watch it now because all the characters in it are nuts.
Well, Chevy Chase. It's the only
Randy Quaid, dude. Randy Quaid is nuts.
Yeah, but Chevy Chase, for whatever reason,
I saw Randy Quaid boofing his wife on camera, and he had like a George Washington wig on. He's in front of like a map of like South America,
and she had a mask on too.
She had like a gorilla mask on.
But that's fine because Randy Quaid's character in the movie is the outlandish
Cousin Eddie is crazy.
Yeah, he's dumping his sewage and you know what I'm saying. So he kind of fits.
Yeah, he would be very January 6th.
Yeah, he would. He was there.
Yeah. So that
I was just taking a tour.
So that's perfect, actually. That's like
I didn't think about
the
that.
real life Randy Quaid kind of mimics.
But Chevy Chase is supposed to be the likable dad, and we all know he's a mega jerk.
Yes, he's the biggest a-hole. I mean, if you
people hate that guy.
They really do.
If you listen to what's his name from The Soup, I forget. Community.
Joe McHale.
Joe
McHale.
McHale.
Nice.
If you hear his stories about Chevy Chase, and then other people, they're like,
from the Community set. Yeah,
it's terrible.
Yeah, crazy stories.
Glover.
Donald Glover.
Donald Glover, even like who's supposedly a super nice guy. Is just I heard him talk about how crazy Chevy Chase was and how much of a D-head he is, and now he's ruined National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation because he's supposed to be like a goofy, lovable dad, and this guy's just a D-head, and now it comes through, and I see him.
It does change it for me. It'd be like it's why we have to protect Macaulay Culkin at all costs.
Yes,
seriously, because like
you can't ruin Home Alone.
Whenever he does something. Like remember when he was going through his Broadway or clubbing or
he's got a long fried
and we were
beard.
a little bit like but no, he pulled it and he's fine.
He's a dad now. He's getting back into acting.
Yeah,
he's got a movie coming out.
He's been doing some really nice stuff. But like to him it's fine.
Yeah.
But if he goes off it does ruin it. You're right.
I mean, like seriously though,
it ruins it.
A fun Christmas movie for me to watch had been for years Lethal Weapon.
Okay,
because it's set during Christmas.
Mel Gibson.
You're introduced to Mel Gibson in a Christmas tree parking lot, in a sale lot where they're doing a cocaine deal. I love that movie, but now for years I find it hard to watch Mel Gibson movies because like I'm watching it, I'm trying to enjoy the film, and then I think, oh yeah, he gets pulled over by a cop, and he says some crazy stuff,
Sugar
and
tease.
and the stuff he said to his wife. Didn't you play that? Weren't you guys playing that audio all the time?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm gonna bring it back for 2025.
Nice,
yeah,
do it. Yeah, remind people why he has a movie directed coming out in January, so remind people.
Oh,
of
The
what he
Beaver
did.
2.
The Beaver 2. I can't wait. It's gonna be so good.
And now even Die Hard, when he's holding the lighter in the air vent, I'm like, oh, he's lost in there. He can't remember how to get out. Because it reminds me of his Alzheimer's. So that's ruined too. They're all ruined.
I made that joke with Andrew as soon as he found out. I said, yippee-ki-yay.
Where am I?
And then Andrew is like, you shut your mouth. That's
so mean.
terrible.
Chris, thanks so much for coming by.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
We love you, buddy. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year to everybody. We
Yes.
hope you have the greatest holiday ever.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, man.
Listen to his podcast,
Yes.
Cinema Crespediso
Like,
podcast.
subscribe,
Thank you.
support.
And Who's the Baddie? Available on Apple and Spotify.
I'm
going to
be on that in 2025.
Heck yeah. Both of you guys better be on it. Our episode on Elf comes out this week. So Who's the Baddie in Elf? We debate that. Well, Matt and Tyler debated. I just recorded.
Yeah, go and subscribe so you can listen to that. Guys, we will see you in a bit. Awesome.
Perfect.
Great job, buddy. Thanks for doing that. What's up, Forrest? How are you, man?
Good. Good to see you.
Where's that goatee?
That's Monday 1 and 2.
Boy.
Well, Mr. Crespo, thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's always easy and fun to record with you. I appreciate it.
I love having you.
You guys are awesome.
We love you, man. Give your team and your compadre some love from us for the holidays, and your girlfriend, and
Thank you.
thanks again for being a part of what we do, man.
Thanks for having me.
We'll keep going.
Yeah,
man,
and
always.
I'll shoot you an email probably because we're off the next week and the week after. But at the beginning of the year, we'll schedule something.
Probably best time would be after the nominations come out.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about all the nominations. So whenever we'll just plan it for that.
Awesome. I meant to say real quick. Did you hear about this 777 marathon that I just read about?
No.
This guy just ran a 777 marathon. It just happened. It's a great world race. 7 marathons, 7 continents, 7 days.
Whoa.
Okay, yeah, I have heard. I saw that.
It's pretty freaking wild. I just saw this morning. The news story just came out yesterday, and of course I thought of you immediately because you're the only person who does any running that I know.
How insane! I can't even imagine. Like I'm so sore. I couldn't even walk yesterday.
And then they had to like fly to each location, but each night after the race they had to sleep on the plane. So by the end they weren't even getting any sleep. So it became like a different type of endurance test.
That's
the article's crazy that I read about it.
Yeah, that shit is insane. Some guys also run like 500 miles on psychedelics and vaping things.
Oh yeah, I saw about that too. That's real. That's crazy.
It's funny because
What's up,
it actually
Forrest?
makes it easier to run on psychedelics. So it's like it's not it's actually performance enhancing. Like it would be.
All right, let me get my stuff ready for Mr.
Just
Mo.
because it's mental at one point, like once you train your body to run and nonstop, and you're just eating fuel, so you can run.
Guys, we will be right back. I'm gonna put just a few songs on, so or excuse me, videos. We'll be right back.
Introducing mediocre melodies, songs for sexy time.
Something in my heart always knew I'd be lying here beside you on my own, holding back the years, thinking of the fear I've had so long with somebody. We're searching for the night together. We're in the followed by.
I don't know the words.
It might be now, it might be never. It's just another shot in the dark.
Yeah. We got a straight talk. Straight talk. his pants, 'cause his face fade. His life is old.
This guy fucks, am I right?
Thank you.
Do you understand the mileage of this place? Like, there's too many. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
You're only killing them off the side of A Street.
Is that
like,
something
there
that-
are hundreds of miles in there. There are trillions of them.
He's 100% right. He's 100% right. He's 100% right.
Yeah, well, as a scientist involved
No one's
in
ever
this,
said that about anything Tom's ever said.
No. Andrea does this, and it gives me anxiety. When we're going anywhere, in my brain, I have exactly what I'm going to order, loaded like I were the last man standing sniper, ready to fire, last bullet. Chipotle will walk up there, and Andrea will be like,
yeah. Crystal does the same thing. She starts looking at the menu as
and
if
I'm like, stop!
I'm like, what are you looking at? You know where they don't have that much. It's not like you're trying to figure out what you're in Egypt trying to like what they eat.
I don't know the translation.
What's a King Tut reference again?
Anything fancy he thinks is Egypt.
This is the wild spirit. It's our black unicorn, and he has a little tongue, and he vibrates, and he's super cool. So, you know, I've talked to before about how cutesy toys like the mushroom and the little unicorn. Yeah. So that's our little nightmare.
See, at least I can understand what that does.
He's doing the Sam Kinison.
No.
Somebody in
Oh,
the
what's going real fast?
Oh my God!
You can't compete with
that. Sold.
No. You know, you guys are twisting my words. I'm just saying.
Dude, I'm not twisting anything.
You ever had like a beer can turd and then
What?
you
reach back and tap it?
They don't like it. I don't know. Max likes it a little bit more than Tom.
They don't
I'm
be
sorry.
standing up.
No, call me plump. It's a whole thing.
They call you plump.
Yeah. We wanted to give the Grizz cat AIDS one.
I'm like, hold on, I'm listening.
A yurt. What the hell was that?
You can't say that. Can't repeat that. Can't repeat that.
Is that a racial slur?
That's a racial slur for a tiny hut.
Oh my God, Sam, bleep that out.
Yeah. Is that where you stick your thumb in your dad's ass?
You
So I've never heard of the oil check.
Yes, I broke my fucking thumb doing it. So after I did it,
Okay, fucking brag about your boner.
I'm not.
Tattoo your uterus. And he's a pile of trash on his phone.
Gotta move my nudie magazine.
And he's
you get like a prescription, like the
That's
thing
what they
you
like, pull down your pants, and then I'm like, you didn't really shark. And he's like, well, I felt like I did. I'm like, well, that's not a real shark. They just rub their butts together.
So I'm glad you asked.
I don't know how.
I'm glad you asked.
I'm not glad he asked.
Oh my God. Oh
It's an
my
issue.
God.
No,
I try not to do that.
what are we gonna do?
Well, what is it?
No
No one else was saying. You see what I'm saying?
You know, people
Oh my
know
God,
I'm
you
doing
took up
this.
this guy's whole day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You thought he was gonna leave it.
Counts as an out in the game.
Tom hasn't had a mound visit in a while.
Hey!
You can't really tell an inch.
I
can tell.
Yeah. Time for a bath. Time for bath. Time for a bath. And time for bath. And then I have to sleep in my buddy's daughter's room. Me and Crystal.
Ew, my God. I've seen those videos before
No.
where they swap them out. Yeah, I've seen that.
No, so I have to sleep in this tiny princess bed. It's
Of
uncomfortable
course you
shit
do.
because he buys all the shit off.
Hello.
So it's
Good
like
morning.
tiny,
We're back. Hello, everybody. We have guests. We have more guests. It's Christmas time. Mo, are you ready for Christmas? We have to talk about the chicken parmesan taco, Tom.
All right.
Okay.
The Jimmy Hula chicken parmesan taco. How did it rate?
It was pretty good.
Pretty
It
good?
was pretty good, actually.
Did they make that special for you? Or are you now?
No, they had that. They've had that like
Oh,
every
okay.
December.
I didn't know if they
They
had
do that for some reason. I was trying to get them to rename it after me, but you know.
Well, what did you have any names?
Just the Mo.
Chicken Moanera, like the Mo. I like that. Yeah.
Mo Parm.
The Mo Parm is good. Yeah, I like that. All right, Mr. Van, is there anything you need to? You look like you had something on the tip of your tongue.
No,
Okay.
I'm
Would you like to begin?
Sure.
Mo, do you need anything? You look good.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. On the couch in the studio with us,
man.
our lawyer, our friend, and the savior of Christmas.
Many Christmases.
For lots of kids.
A lot. That's such a Florida area. This guy is, let's just call him Mr. Bikes is what I would call him.
Mo Dewitt's here. How you doing, Mo?
How's it going?
Good to see you, man. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. Glad you didn't bring Busdecker. Glad you brought Forrest.
Thank God.
Am I allowed to say
too much
that?
energy.
Am I allowed to say that?
It's early in the morning. We can't be around Bus
Yeah, I
Decker.
mean, Forrest is more low key
Yeah,
and
very-
chill.
very calm, very mellow.
Busdecker, very high strung, like always running around crazy.
He texted us this morning. He's like, "Do you mind if Forrest comes?" And I'm like, "Do you
mind if
Forrest has been
I've known
coming here
Forrest for like 4 years now, 5 years now?
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course I like. Go out, come on.
If Forrest could watch my sons,
I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, whatever the guy was,
He's
whatever
fine.
the guy was, he can sleep with my wife.
I'll
Yeah,
videotape
yeah,
it.
All right,
Sorry,
Rogan.
Mo.
That's how Tom and Dan do it. You want to sleep with my wife, Forrest? You want to videotape it?
So
The way that we do it.
Mo,
No other show you work with is willing to let your camera people sleep with our wives, man. Not the news junkie, not anybody in Tampa. We're the guys.
So
The show just took a turn.
I just want you to know how willing we're going.
I appreciate the dedication.
That we're willing to go to the mat for you, man.
So how is it, Mo, that you do more events
Yeah.
than any entertainment
he's
company
out
or
and
radio
about.
show, podcast? I mean, between your Gatorland Christmas party, which, by the way, thanks so much. My
thanks
son
for
did
coming
a
out.
great job.
Thanks again for that, man.
I think that was a good time. Everyone seemed to really
Yeah,
enjoy that.
oh, yeah.
I think you hit it out of the park. People were the Mo hats were nice because you could. It was good to hand out the Mo hats because then I knew who was there for the for the event.
Identify the degenerates.
Yeah, I got to meet a bunch of new people. That was a great time. Shout outs to Gatorland for.
No, they did a great job.
They killed it. Shout outs to Savannah and her whole team.
And of course,
Mike, the Gator man, Mike, for killing it out there, man. Loved it.
Huge success with the bike drive, the Real Radio bike drive. And you do a lot for the community, Mo, and I appreciate it, and I think a lot of people do appreciate it.
Well, I mean, December's a busy month for us. I'm exhausted, honestly. Like the last couple weeks have been rough.
I bet.
But no, it's always a good time. It's fun. It's good to get to actually like meet them and meet the listeners and see them in person, and so it's fun to get them out at Gatorland or people come by the bike drive and all that kind of stuff. And I love the bike drive. That's kind of always been one of my favorite events. Just kids getting bikes on Christmas, kind of nothing more.
Never
than
gets
that.
old. Yeah, I agree with it.
So we have a voicemail question we're going to start off with that someone left us.
And if you'd like to leave us voicemail messages, you may do so by telling them the different ways. The first way is 1-844-TOMNDAN. If you call that number, you can get a hold of us and leave your message. Also, if you get our free app with all of our content on it, there's a little button there that says Mediocre Messages. You can click on that, and it will allow you to leave a message like this one right here. Let's go with this one.
Hey, Tom and Dan, it's Keyed Up BDM. I think on last week's show you said something about a listener had emailed in saying that they had changed the amount of classes you can take to, get rid of points on your license. Just curious, where did she find that information? Because I've Googled it, my wife Googled it, because apparently we've definitely used all our times to go to those classes.
I think we may have given out some misinformation.
I couldn't find it either.
Yeah, nobody could find it. We did get an email last week because I wrecked my car, and thank you again. Mo's been helping me, try to navigate because I don't do anything wrong because I don't do anything, right?
Yeah,
I don't go anywhere, so I have no traffic infractions. So
I think you're only looking at a little bit of jail time, maybe a week or two.
This is the first thing I've ever. This is the first thing I've ever done.
Be good.
You know, but we did say, and we had a listener email us and say like, "Hey Dan, tell Tom it's not 5 anymore; it's 8. You get 8."
I heard that show. Yeah.
Yeah, and we like we do with anything because it's Trump's America. We just grabbed onto the headline and ran with it. We didn't do any research because I feel like you should be able to trust people out there, right?
Well, where would she come up with? Like, it seems like a weird lie. So based on the,
it is a weird lie to email me and say 8 out of. It's oddly specific too.
And it seemed like she was an insider somehow, where she found that this was coming through the pipeline maybe before.
Whistleblower. They're called whistleblowers. Next thing you know, you wind up dead in an L.A. parking garage.
I don't know if there's something. I'm sure it has to be voted on, right? I don't even know.
That's the way laws work.
Okay. You got that
but
one
this
right.
is kind of a.
You got that one right. That's luck. That was luck. Try again.
Yeah. Sometimes they change stuff without things getting voted on, right?
Sometimes they do.
I
didn't
don't know
vote
how
for
it works.
this.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I didn't pick Kamala.
So we have no idea. There's no way to know.
There's no way to know. So what say you?
I mean, I heard that episode. I actually put on my list to research to see if that's correct or not. I don't know if it's been changed. I'll have to look into it. Now, one thing that you still can do, even if you exhausted all of your traffic school things, is you can go to a judge and ask them for no adjudication, which means they won't put points on your license. So you do get a certain amount of those as well. But I don't know where this information came from. I mean, it sounds like the classic, well, I Googled this, and this is what came up, and people tell me that all the time. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're not. So we'll have to check it out.
Oh, damn
Google. Mo,
Google.
I'm afraid to ask a judge for anything because I
Straight to jail. Straight to jail.
Because I if I'm standing in front of a judge or if there's
Have you ever stood in front of a judge?
Yes, I have. I can only tell Mo's heard the story before.
Was that the baggy suit one? You had this attorney that was, oh my God, Baggy Suitman. His first name, Baggy.
He was wearing a leisure suit.
It was James Baggy Suitman.
Powder blue leisure suit.
I brought out the good suit today. Haven't worn this since '68.
And I paid him in Orlando Predators tickets.
Sounds legit.
Make sure all the tickets are here. These are for the Miller Lite promo area, right with the tables.
Let me guess. Radio listener?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The best attorneys are radio
absolutely.
listeners. Yeah. Baggy Suitman.
You open up his briefcase, there's like a banana peel in
a moth flew out.
Candy bars.
Yeah. You open there's a banana peel.
You want Snickers? You might get hungry in there.
Flies out of it. His daughter's hamster falls out of his briefcase.
There was stacks of paper, and then he was shuffling through them, and the judge was mad. And I was like, "Didn't you put my information on the top? You knew you were coming here."
All right, let me see here.
What's your name again?
Van.
What are you shuffling through?
Van. There's some reeds for my daughter's saxophone practice. Van.
Anyway, back to the this changing of the law, whatever.
Yeah.
We talked about it during that same show. We talked about how they lowered or they upped the amount of hours like a 16 and 17-year-old could work. And
I heard you talking about that as well. Yeah.
And that's that was reported on the news. And there's 200 different laws that were changed or modified in some way in Florida. And it's funny that it was just some article that came out
Yeah, they kind of do one every year. There's usually 200 laws, and they're always changed. They usually go into effect either January 1st, sometimes it's July 1st, but most of them are January 1st.
And Mo, do cops have to actually do a refresher course when it every year?
No, they just make up with the laws.
Okay, yeah, I know. Because I'm I don't think they're sitting every cop down and making him review all the new laws.
Most of them listen to this show, and they get their legal advice from Tom Van.
And I still like it that I guess you're allowed to video cops. But I got to tell you, as a traditionalist, I still like it when the cop's like, hey, you can't video, but he swats your phone off. It makes me laugh every time. I'm like, get him, break his phone. You want to do, I got an email here.
Okay.
This one's kind of goes along with my accident or, whatever had happened. Hey, Dan, I used to work as a claims adjuster for Progressive. I never handled claims in Florida, but in the Northeast and most other states. If you're making a left turn or leaving a private driveway, business parking lots, etc., you are automatically at fault for the accident. There are scenarios where there could be minimal blame on the other party for excessive speed, etc. I don't think there's anything from a fault aspect that could help you. That's from Scott. Yeah, I was in.
Well, I disagree with that. You're never automatically at fault. There may be a presumption that you're at fault in certain circumstances. Like if you rear end somebody, typically there's a presumption that you're at fault. Now, it's a rebuttable presumption, and that's what he's kind of saying there with, excessive speed or things like that. But there are other factors that could play into it. And of course, we can convince a jury of anything.
Yeah.
Well,
that's a joke.
Well,
it's a joke.
And we wanted to get into this, and again, this ship is pretty much sailed. But so in my specific case, I was sitting in the median, getting ready to take I guess I'm taking a left turn into the left-hand lane, and a truck came all the way across, and we were turning into the lane at the same time, and I hit him. So when I pulled over and he and I were exchanging all of our information like you are supposed to do, driver's license, insurance, the whole nine, a community service officer was there and asked us if we wanted an accident report, which my wife has always told me I should have for insurance.
Which I think is correct. You should have an accident report.
And we agreed to it. But at the time, she fills out the form of the accident, asked me if she could see the video. Of course, I'm not going to deny her that because, again, I have nothing to hide here either. And then I ended up getting a ticket. Is there a better way that you, as my attorney, would have handled that when she said, hey, do you want an accident report, knowing that I could have possibly been in the wrong? Now, look, I'm not trying to defraud anybody or break the law, but would it have been less sticky for me to say, we're good here, or...
Well, typically what happens if you don't get an accident report is then the insurance companies have to determine fault, so it takes longer.
Gotcha.
So usually the accident report just speeds things up. And accident reports aren't admissible in court. It's not, if we did go to trial, they can't introduce that to a jury or anything like that. So it's really, just kind of for the insurance company purposes.
Why isn't it admissible?
It's hearsay, technically. So the jury's supposed to make their own determination of fault based on the evidence that's presented. And if you're showing them an accident report that says somebody's at fault, that's a determination that's been made by an officer. It's an out-of-court statement for the truth of the matter asserted, which is hearsay. It can't be used in court. So it's really the jury has to use the evidence to make their own determination of fault.
Now, what if, Daniel's car has cameras all around it,
Yeah.
Teslas do, and they automatically record anytime there's something happens or whatever? And I'm sure in the future, a lot of these cars will be made with cameras around.
Yeah.
So are the camera evidence during an accident, do you have to submit that to court, or is that up to you? And then how do you think it'll change insurance moving forward in the future if most cars have video cameras everywhere?
Well, I think it'll make faults, much easier to determine. It's less of a, he said, she said, or he said, situation, because we actually have cameras to look at. Now, as far as, do you have to preserve and submit the evidence? Once you're put on notice that there's some sort of reason to preserve it, typically when we get involved in a case, we send out what's called a spoliation letter, where that gets sent to whoever has the video evidence and says, hey, you're legally required to preserve this evidence. And then if we subpoena it as part of a court proceeding, then, you have to provide it. Up until that point, though, you're not legally obligated to provide it. When the community service officer asked Daniel, hey, can I see this? He could have said no, or I don't know how to access it, or
but
I
think
prefer
about
not
how that
to.
looks, right? I mean, I know you don't like uncomfortable. How uncomfortable is it? You're standing on the other side of the road, and the computer.
You should have just left your vehicle there and just sprinted down the road.
There are plays. You know how crazy I am. I kind of wanted to do that. If I had that puppet in the car, I probably would have talked to her with my Mr. Smarts puppet. But how weird is it if she's like, this is a Tesla,
it's awkward.
right?
It's definitely awkward.
Yeah, can we watch the video? And I'm like, no, you cannot.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Well, it's like only cracking your window. And this is all I'm going to crack my window when the cop's talking to you. And
You can slide it through.
So I'm going to ask you a really dumb question now, Mo.
Yes.
Pretty used to that.
Is that why you told me to put mine up front?
I'm sure you've seen this the drone news stories in New Jersey that I don't know why it's making so much headlines.
People are stupid. all of my
was perfect.
I know a lot of pilots for some reason, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, living in Florida, I guess, too, and you're one of those guys. I have to throw Mo in there with all my DeLand pilot buddies, and they're all like, these are all things that we've all seen a bunch of times, and you're a bunch of dumb idiots, and they're all like, these are manned air. A lot of them are just planes, and you're like, oh, look at that drone. Look at the goddamn dome!
So it's become a story, and I was reading it to see if we could talk about it. It's so stupid, but and then one of the things were some lawmakers have suggested shooting them down, And was like shooting them down.
That sounds safe.
Lawmakers. and then I remembered, I've always thought if you had gray hair and a suit on, you were smart and respectable. And now I'm realizing, and now I'm gonna be 43 soon, and I'm like, oh, that
Senator Shaggy Two Dope says we should shoot them out of the sky.
Then all of my dodo friends, including me with gray birds, I'm like, oh my God, I'm just as stupid
You
as
look
they
down
are.
and you're wearing a suit.
And I'm like, if I wore a suit, I'd be so stupid.
And you'd say shoot them out of the sky.
And then I thought of, like, I wonder if you did shoot a drone down and it fell on someone's property, right? Like, who's responsible?
Who's inside of it? Superman's baby.
Where does it come with the drones and the responsibility of, damage of property? Like, obviously, the person that's shooting them
would probably be responsible for it, unless there was some legal reason that they were allowed to shoot it. But
well, are you saying that if I'm on my property, let's say I live out in, wherever, far away from here, where I have some land, I have like 3 acres.
Eustis.
Yeah, I'm in Eustis, and somebody's flying their drone around my property, and it's loud, and I don't like it. And I decide, since I have acreage, that I'm going to get out there with my hunting rifle, and I'll blow it out of the sky. And then it falls.
You need a shotgun to spread it.
Yeah, regardless. And I blow it out of the sky, and then it falls to the ground, and
what if you just hit one of the propellers and then it goes out of control
and then it burns down a church,
or it lands and hits your neighbor's car or something like.
It hits your neighbor's church.
Yeah. Then it's the person that shot it's the responsible, or the drone operator
for flying it over the property.
I mean, typically it'd be the person who shot it down. Now, again, if there was some legal reason as to why you could shoot it down, maybe there would be a defense there. But, I mean, frankly, it's no different than shooting down an aircraft that's legally flying over your property.
What if I'm throwing underwear at it, not like... What if I don't shoot it? What if I just throw, like, my wife's big balloony underwear and it gets tangled in the blades?
I do follow this TikTok account where drones just bother hobos.
Yeah, I love that one. I love that one.
I haven't seen that one yet.
Oh, it's so funny. There's nothing they hate more because there's no insulation in those boxes.
And they fly over homeless people and then just irritate them.
And the homeless are like, get out of here.
And then they throw stuff out of the drones like,
yeah, there's nothing. You know how you know you won? When you can make a hobo throw the food he loves more than anything. If you can make it, or throw his liquor. If he throws his liquor at the drone, you win.
So, Mo, I had a situation where, I'll just say a family member.
Yeah. Was it a hobo?
It's close to a hobo. Told me a story the other day about they were walking from behind their truck to go out to their street and almost got hit by an Amazon truck delivering stuff in their neighborhood. And they said the Amazon truck was hauling ass. And this is going to be a problem because if you start looking at these Amazon delivery drivers, like they only get paid and they get penalties if they don't deliver all the packages. So it's kind of like incentivizing them to haul ass.
Yeah.
You know, like
I mean, it's classic Domino's Pizza 30-minute delivery case.
Yeah.
It's the old Amazing Race. You know, we're ripping through Greece, and I just killed somebody because I'm trying to get to the thing. I got to get the immunity idol.
Anyway, he told me like he walked behind the Amazon truck, couldn't see them until the last minute. He slammed on the brakes or whatever. He told me like he's like, man, I was almost gonna get
Tracy Morgan
and Tracy Morgan by this Amazon truck, and I was gonna call Mo. Just
wait
call
a
Mo.
minute. Hold on a second. That might be worth it if you can, you know.
And then
probably not.
I was like, I don't think that Amazon employs these delivery drivers. I was just guessing.
It's
like
the highest quality training. Is that what you're asking?
I'm like, I'm pretty sure that Amazon was smart enough to be like, we are third partying this MFer because this is the most dangerous part of our business.
So it's Uber.
Yeah. And then it turns out they do that and hire third party companies. Like I looked it up and there's like GoGo Logistics is one of them. And so
it's a good name.
They're driving Amazon trucks, but they're like branded Amazon. But
I mean, they still have huge insurance policies, and you can still kind of pierce the corporate veil and go after the company, and there's still assets there. So it's not like they can get away with not paying.
No, but it's not the $1 trillion Amazon business that is behind this. So how does that work? We're a third party company that is an Amazon van.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to provide some insulation there. I don't know how well it would really work if somebody really challenged it. Now it would take a huge case to have to be able to even go after Amazon independently, where you GoGo or whoever the company is doesn't have enough assets to support it, which is really going to be some gigantic case because they're still a large company, in and to themselves, basically.
So, do you think that this is going to be a few and then I started researching it, and there's different states want to basically claim that Amazon needs to treat these delivery drivers like employees.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of it's and
Uber did the same thing.
Yes.
Uber tried to insulate themselves, and there was a period of time, and still somewhat going on, where if we sued Uber, they would settle the case because they didn't want that aspect litigated, and they would pay more money on those cases because essentially they didn't want a court to determine whether those people are employees or independent contractors. They were trying to avoid that ruling by kind of paying out these cases. And there was a case that was a BDM listener that this happened to, and they kind of got overpaid to sort of go away because they didn't want that issue raised, basically.
They don't want the case law.
They don't want the case law. Now, I think at this point it's kind of been settled, but or at least in most states, maybe not all. But they were trying to avoid that case law that would potentially go against them and cost them a lot of money.
And last question.
Chat room says father-in-law hit by Amazon truck, $15K in damage to his F-150. Only got his truck fixed. Had no injuries.
Well, that's no fun.
Yeah, that's not good. I thought it was going to be a good one.
So
that was a bad one.
No, it's good they weren't injured.
Right. That's true. That's what my wife always says.
Yeah. No, it really is. I mean, anybody who's been through
things,
a car
they're just
accident,
things. They can all be replaced. It's just things. It's just things.
So, and we've asked you this question before when it comes to Halloween decorations, but I know, on my way to work down Lakemont, there's this house.
You seen the Mega Snowman?
Oh yeah, I passed on the way here.
You seen the Mega That thing is 75 feet tall.
I'm talking about the Star Wars house.
Star Wars house.
Yes,
exactly.
the Star Wars house.
The Death Star out front.
Yes. So that Star Wars house, they did a new thing this year. They always used to do above and beyond huge Christmas tree, Christmas lights, a whole front
Star
lawn.
Wars is nerdy though. So nerdy.
But this year they created a path through their front yard so that basically you could walk through the lights and lights on both sides.
Attractive nuisance.
Okay, so I started looking at that and I was like, man, they created a path for the local neighborhood, and I saw cars parked in the cul-de-sac. People were driving there to because that's the thing. You drive your kids
you're
around.
letting your ego get at you, and you're gonna end up.
How much risk are they taking by doing that, Mo, where it takes one old granny that came out with her family to trip and fall in your front yard?
She trips over a tauntaun leg.
Yeah.
She falls over. She breaks her hip.
Yeah, breaks her hip, and then, they're suing your homeowners.
You lose all of your decorations.
I guess you just sue your homeowners, right? Is that, and then...
Yeah, we go after your homeowner's insurance. I mean, the question is whether there's a known hazard on the property at that point that they didn't take, proper precautions on the pathway or whatever it may be, to make sure that people can, walk through it safely. Obviously, you're inviting people onto your property at that point to see these lights, to see the decorations. And so if you're going to do that, you can't have known hazards on the property where, they can trip over an extension cord. All that stuff has to be secured if you're going to do that. And if you don't do it, then, you can get potentially sued and they'd go after your homeowner's insurance.
Can you put the path there to show... okay, so you make the path as if to welcome everyone. Look, we made a path for everyone to enjoy it. But it's really just for you, and then you put signs at the entrance and exit of the path saying do not enter. That way you can still get the enjoyment of the path without the legality of the people using it.
Well, this brings up a good point. So if you don't have any known hazards and it's just a regular path and a granny or someone does fall just because they tripped over their own feet, they could technically still sue you and still sue your homeowner's insurance, but may not win. And even that lawsuit, though, does that make their homeowner's insurance you are, even by doing all this, creating a bigger risk than my other customers, and therefore I'm either going to drop you or raise your rates?
I mean, it's a claim on the policy, so they can certainly look at that. I mean, I say you can't sue God for gravity. If you trip over your own feet and fall, that's not really a lawsuit, but this is America, and we can sue anyone for any reason. So, balance those two out. But yeah, anytime you have a claim on the policy, that could raise your rates, potentially get you dropped. We all know how much of a mess homeowners insurance is already in the state, so it's not going to help anything if you get sued for it, certainly. Even though you may win the claim, they still have to pay money out to defend it.
But it doesn't seem like this is deterring a lot of people. They still have these giant
those loops
displays.
are bigger than ever now. The new... You've seen the new trend of where you take a piece of white PVC,
Instagram loop,
and you stretch it over, and then you get like 10 of them in front of your house, and then people walk through your light loop.
Yeah.
Like there's hundreds of them in Baldwin.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the idea of you not weaponizing, but taking a little patch of concrete, making it yours, making a path, and having people walk through it. I mean, there's 100 of them out there.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
More than ever.
Walking death traps.
Yeah.
But, but then again, it's like people, unless it's egregious, I feel like for the most part, society is not going to just sue you for nothing. But I guess, man,
that's what you hope.
You know.
That's what you hope.
Yeah,
I mean, you hope most people are good people. And I think, typically, especially if there's a lawyer involved in the case, they want there to be significant injuries. And, liability may not always be clear, but they want a theory of liability that makes sense. If somebody just trips over their own feet or, is just being clumsy, usually that's not a case.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Mo, thanks so much for coming in today.
Happy holidays, man.
Happy
and thanks
holidays
for
to you guys.
everything you've done for us throughout the entire year, for us and all of our listeners, and helping out a bunch of, our ne'er-do-well listeners when they make mistakes and they have questions for you. And
Daniel thought of this idea.
Did I?
How would you like to be the ambassador for the Conch Republic?
Yeah.
It's not even a real
It's not
thing.
even a real place.
But in the Keys, I feel like you'd be the perfect ambassador.
We have a Key West office now. So.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
You always fly down there.
Yeah, I think that would be killer.
Yeah.
I like this.
We'll just announce it. Mo DeWitt, the new ambassador of the Conch Republic.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to get you a hamburger or a cheeseburger hat.
Issue the press release.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we will take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Corporate Time.
Awesome. All right. Well done.
Thank you, guys.
We're doing more, right?
We're just going to do that 10-minute to finish future Monday, and we'll just come back and talk about the update to the case. They found that girl alive.
Where's this one go?
That is Tuesday 3. Tomorrow 3.
Thanks, sir.
So 12/17.
We don't have anything. Do we?
No.
Tom or Dan, is it possible to get the audio emailed to me?
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt.
YouTube is getting harder and harder to download.
Yeah, 100%.
Videos and stuff.
I'll make a note at the end of this too. Thanks for coming in, Mo.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you, man.
Energetic as usual.
No, it's been.
We're all kind of there.
Yeah.
I think we're trying.
December.
You gas out after going so hard.
Like everybody's preparing for the Christmas week. I was just talking about it's hard for a lot of businesses. I'm sure it's like Christmas on a Wednesday, New Year's on a Wednesday. So it's like, what the hell do you do with that whole week?
Oh yeah. I mean, this week I'm already F it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I like that new pinball machine.
Oh yeah, hit it, man, before you get out of here. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, I have Jurassic Park at my house.
Nice.
Yeah, new sponsor. They rent them out and they change them out. It's good for business. Yeah.
So I got mine from the guy who runs the pinball lounge at the Baldwin Center. And so my wife wanted it, and I was like, I want to buy a pinball machine. So he was like, oh, I'll just put it at your house, and I'll charge like $300 a month. He's never charged me. He's like, I'm gonna give you a few months free because I did that event there.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, assume at some point he's gonna pick it up and charge it or something. But yeah, that's kind of a good business. You bring in swap, and he says like, especially during COVID when you couldn't have people there.
Yeah.
That was like his entire business, just put them in people's houses. So.
Oh, that Tony Hawk board is dope, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we met him at the Grant Britain thing. I got to get it framed.
I'm pretty sure I had that as a fingerboard. Like I had a bunch back.
It wouldn't surprise me. That's a reissue from like a couple of years ago.
What's the one behind it?
No, that's one from the Attack, and they signed, the whole band signed it. It's like a custom deck of a band that is buddy of ours.
It's an impressive piece of furniture.
I had a next door neighbor in Maryland, and his best friend was Buffy Lastic.
Oh,
He
wow.
would come hang out with the kids in the neighborhood like a lot. We had a little makeshift art ramp. It was cool, man. I miss those days.
Have you seen those new ramps? And I keep wanting, I wish May was really into her bike, or I'd buy her one, but she's just all up with dance. but they make these. They're made for mountain bikers, and they're pieces of composite. Think like a cutting board that you would use for like cutting chicken breast. Have you seen this, TC? And it's all like Legos, and you build a ramp. Like you can build a ramp that'll hold like up to like a 300-pound man.
Really?
And they're just like Legos made for ramp building, and you make the ramps, and then you can launch it, and then it comes with a foam pad that goes on the opposite side, and you blow up the foam pad. It's really nice too, where you can land on the other side and do like, you can jump and you can launch and then rocket onto like this pad. It's awesome.
Like this thing?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, look, show TC that. See, it's like this little, it's like pieces
Oh,
of.
yeah.
And you can build these ramps, and then they sell this foam pad that inflates on the other side. It's like a foam pit. And then you can launch and you can land on the other side and not hurt yourself. I was like, that's fucking awesome. I'll beg my dad for that shit.
Yeah,
we were
yeah,
having
yeah.
to launch off of. We were having to launch behind the Winn-Dixie, and you would land in the. We just crushed boxes up just like he did, and but this is. I think it's like $360. You get a kit, and it comes with the ramp, and you can do different levels in the inflatable part. Pretty neat.
Get another bike, like a big BMX 26-inch. I had one when I was in New York City. It was the shit. I would ride for like 20, 30 miles every time I went out, up and down Manhattan, across to Brooklyn. It was.
I bet that's
shit.
fun though. The stuff you can see there. What are we doing here? 10 minutes.
So the show we did with Sam that is for Monday, December 30th.
Yes. We're doing the update on the lady.
Yeah, and then we just had 10 minutes left, so I figured we'll just talk about that lady. And I'm trying to find the news story.
I got it. I'll pull it up on right here. I got it. All right, you ready? You can bring us back.
Okay.
In 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. This is the first time we've ever done this, but we have an update to a story that we talked about earlier on the show.
This is what Live PD does.
yeah.
It's like we have an update to last week's story about the rapist that was on the loose.
And this is an update about the lady that disappeared in Mexico, and her dad killed himself.
Hannah
off of Parkenburg.
Kobayashi, the 30-year-old photographer from Hawaii. She was reported missing in November of 2024.
Yeah.
She went missing. We remember the
talked about it,
story, connecting flight and everything. Well, they had the surveillance footage and everything. We also remember her father, Ryan Kobayashi, traveled from Los Angeles to assist, but tragically died by suicide on November 24th. So it's a really sad tale. Well, on December 11th of 2024, she was found safe in Mexico with an estranged aunt, Lori Pigeon. She expressed a desire not to return to her immediate family, causing feelings of betrayal and exhaustion among them. There are also more kind of like there's like a green card marriage scam sort of a thing going on here, like an investigation.
She's kind of nutty, but there was nothing that they found nefarious going on. She disappeared by her own accord. She wanted to disappear. She went into Mexico.
Which I think I even mentioned it when we were talking about this. I think I even brought up, and I remember saying the phrase like, well, what if you want to go missing?
Yeah. You have a legal right to go missing if you want. Now, the weirdest part about this whole story that we talked about is the dad killing himself.
Yeah.
So
they're not really addressing it much, right? Like I'm looking at a picture of him here now. Ryan Kobayashi, he was 58, was found dead on November 24th in Los Angeles. The family said the stress and lack of sleep caused by the search had contributed to his death. Quote, each day brought an unbearable uncertainty of whether my sister was alive or dead, Sydney Kobayashi wrote. Quote, losing my father to suicide during this ordeal was more than my heart could bear. I am human.
So he just, because we were saying, don't you want to wait until you find, like, your daughter's missing? I understand
you'd want to find her
stressful.
remains before you'd want to off yourself, I would imagine, right? The finality of knowing that she was
Well, the thing is, there was no even evidence that she was in danger. Like, they had video of her, and they knew she went into Mexico,
Correct.
Willingly, or at least what it looked like willingly.
Or maybe you could, like, if she has mental illness, maybe you could trace a bit of it from him.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, it seems like he mentally
Daniel,
ill as well.
This is called the Daniel passed it to Maisie?
No.
Yeah.
No,
Is that Daniel and Maisie super crazy? Is that why you wrote that on your paper in front of you?
No,
It
no.
says Daniel and Maisie super crazy on your paper.
That's completely that's a different. Has nothing to do with you. That's something totally unrelated.
Look, we are messing around. We were messing around.
But
yeah, I do believe that. I mean, like, I'm looking at the pictures of him, and they're not alluding to that, and that's their family business, right? Like, why would they say he struggled with depression or anxiety or mental illness or something? Like, they're not going to say that. They're not saying that even about her. They're just saying they feel betrayed and they're sad. But I think we can all connect the dots and say that we feel like that she is mentally unwell right now.
Yes,
right?
yeah. When people,
why aren't we allowed to say that anymore? It's like when Britney Spears acts all crazy, we go like, we're not allowed. You can't say she's mentally unwell right now. You have to no. She's just living her life. No, she's mentally unwell. Like obviously,
her
she's
behavior
doing,
is erratic.
Yeah, she's doing weird stuff. She says she's a 5-year-old and moving to Mexico. That's mentally unwell.
Yeah.
And I guess you're not allowed to make that delineation unless you're a professional. I understand that. I get it.
Yeah, but there's evidence that we can all point to as a society that these people aren't mentally well.
When you pack everything in a suitcase and you go to Mexico on a bus. Yeah. Most sane people don't do that.
Yeah. Or if you're running from the law, like a Dufresne, or, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yeah. But, there are people that do move to different countries, but they don't just up and leave everything behind and
But it's been
flee.
happening a lot lately.
Yeah.
We had the guy, they went to Uzbekistan because he wanted that good new pee. And then we got this lady. And how come she doesn't feel any, there's been no statement from her about, like, how bad would you feel knowing that you went to Mexico and your dad killed himself because of that, right?
Dude, I have it in me to, like, I have a yearning to flee.
Me too.
That's
why we have this business together. One day we'll be gay lovers on the lamb, Tom and Dad. The sex is going to be be
No, I need to flee by myself.
Oh, you're a loner fleer?
Or
you're a free.
I need to take my family and flee.
I never take my family.
Yeah.
No,
I need them. No, yeah.
It would ruin it for them.
Or at least my sons. I'll take myself. I'll flee with my sons.
Okay, I'll flee with your wife. How about that?
And this is what you get Amber alerts, by the way.
I got one this morning.
Yeah. It's usually from family members
Thanks
fleeing
a lot,
with
Lake
their family.
County. That's a way to start your Monday.
But there is for whatever reason, do yearn to flee.
Yeah, me too.
And I have fantasies about it. Like,
Some
especially
people born to run, I yearn to flee.
when things get and I get too stressed out, like, I just want to flee.
Yeah.
And that's my go-to is flee.
Is that what?
It's weird. Crystal
Well, wait a minute.
doesn't. She does not think like
The
that.
only person that flees is ever fleed in here is me. I'm the fleer.
No.
I flee right. I'll run right out of here and I'll walk to the mailbox and go like, "What are you doing? Get back in there."
No, but you come back. That's a fake
I always
flee.
come back. It is a fake flee. It is a fake
flea.
A flea flicker.
Yeah. You're just.
I just need to pop off energy. It's just
you
energy.
pretend for fleeing.
It is pretend flee.
But there's like
you have the real flea, which is sad. Real flea is
There's something that is very appealing to me about leaving all your belongings and everything, and then starting over in some new place.
Me too.
I don't know what what is that. It has to be some like maybe old evolutionary thing where humans were like nomads and we just go from one place, like Moana. Like they'd
have to.
You need to find the next island.
Well, yeah, they'd have to put some sort of excitement in there, and then we have trained ourselves. I think. I mean, like
we're not meant to just stay in one place for forever. Like we want to move.
Yeah, we move around.
Yeah. Which I think is their natural instinct.
You want a clean slate, like I think most people.
Yeah, I dirtied my slate.
Yeah, you have a dirty slate. You need to wipe your slate occasionally.
I think a lot of people have dirty slates. Like you burn some bridges. You have some bad reputations.
Yeah,
like
you got some baggage, right?
You got family members. And you're like, oh God, I don't want to see these people.
And you've got baggage that you.
Baggage, yeah. You want to dump,
and then you have a bad name for yourself, so you realize if you just go one town over,
new life, new beginning.
Everybody's so selfish that it'll eventually travel there. But for a sweet couple of weeks, you're the new guy.
You know what's funny about New Beginnings is
What are we is this the cult we started? New Beginnings. We have a cult called New Beginnings.
you have to be honest with yourself that you're just gonna do it again.
Yeah. That's the best part of New Beginnings. The best part of New Beginnings is knowing you're standing in your old beginning.
Because I know that I'm gonna do it again.
Yes.
Because this is my personality.
It was like Andrea was yelling at me at Target because I found an autonomous drone on sale. You ever go down the sale toy aisle?
Yeah,
Where they're slashing prices on the stuff that nobody wants, right? And I found this drone. It was like an $80 drone, and they wanted $22 for this, and it would follow you around. And I'm like, I gotta get this drone. I'm getting it. I grabbed it immediately. I put it in the shopping cart, and Andrea looks at me and she goes, "Hey, what are you doing? Let's think about it." And I go, "Think about it?
You're ruining it.
You're ruining exactly.
Yeah.
The minute you think about it is the minute you suck all the fun out of it. In fact, I said, don't even say that. Don't even act like you say that. Just leave it in the cart.
You can't
let it burn.
You can't think about it because then you won't buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's stupid.
This guy knows. Exactly. This guy knows.
Yeah. But the New Beginnings, I constantly tell myself, like, if I flee, whatever life I'm gonna build in the new place is gonna eventually be this.
Same life. Same life.
Yeah, but then that's when you flee again. You just constantly flee.
Right. But see, yours is different because you're with your family.
Yeah.
Which gives you it's easier for you to fall back into your routine.
Okay.
Because you have some of the same people. With me, I think that I would probably try
completely new
I'll
life.
try some different things.
Okay, new name.
There's an idea where I move from here, right? I'm Orlando. I shoot over to St. Cloud. Or do I need to go further?
Further? Say Atlanta. You go.
All right,
you
so
like
I go
Atlanta.
to Atlanta, and I'm like a young gay.
Oh, you turn
I'm a
gay.
young gay man.
Okay.
I'm an older. I'm not young. I'm an older. I'm an
gay
older
man.
gay man from Orlando that came.
No, you can't say where you're from.
I'm an older gay man from Gainesville. I'm from Gainesville.
So, okay.
No one had ever. I don't think you guys could find me. I'd live in Little 5 Points, very stylish. Keep to myself.
You know, like
I'd work at a beer bar. I'd work at the Porter, just pouring beer.
Like, I think there's
And see, the gay thing will throw people off because I'll just keep to myself. But it would like, because Andrea knows how horny I am, and she'd be like, look for the horniest, littlest person in Atlanta. They'd never find me. I'd have to be celibate. I'd have to shut off the horny part of my brain. No sex ever again.
Do you think, like, people that go into witness protection programs, right?
Yeah.
Does the government have to create false and fake social media of a life they lived?
I don't think they're allowed to have social media.
No. But what I'm saying is, like, say you're in the witness protection program and you move to some Wisconsin, right? And you just work some job in Wisconsin. You have like people you meet, you got a new fake name and everything. They're gonna like their wives for sure, because Crystal does this, and like Andrea.
Everybody, say you're not on there.
Well, that's a weird red flag. If you have no social media history whatsoever,
it is, but
you're going to be weirdo. They're going to be suspicious of you.
But what's weird, it'd be too hard to control it, I feel like.
Well, you could create
anything
fake...
that you're interacting with, even if it's fake, you're going to slip up, and the government doesn't want you to do that, right?
No.
Like, I couldn't create a fake. I mean, I could create one, but you could never have access to it. Do you see what I'm saying? The government could create a fake persona for you, but the minute you give that to the dum-dum that's in witness protection, you're done. You can't give them access to that. They're too stupid to control.
But it's under a fake name and stuff, so no one could trace it back to you.
But you still remember if you're talking on that.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But
like, I have a friend.
But I'm saying you couldn't.
I have a friend. I shouldn't say this. I had an acquaintance that was a listener back in the day, and I don't even think I could ever talk to her on the show about this. But she was one of these teachers that slept with a student, right? And from that day forward, it was like her online thing is gone. It's gone. There's no such thing as that. You don't get that again. You're done.
Yeah. Well, but she can't flee because unless she changed her name. But the thing is, even if you change your name, now you've got no history of you on the internet.
Yeah, but that's better than you screwing up, I feel like.
But that's more suspicious, though.
I mean, it may be.
Because they're like, why does this person have no history, no social media? Like, something's weird.
Maybe it is, but it's too hard to control. Because, like, you mean, like, if EJ were in witness protection, you mean that as sensitive as he isn't going to use Facebook. He's going to know he's going to still remember his original name. He's going to still reach out to people that were his original friends. I have to cut all that off if I'm the government. I can't let you do that. You're endangering yourself. I can't allow you to do that.
Do they make fake accounts just to show some history so people aren't suspicious? Because
I don't think so. I think they eat the suspicion. I think they're like, that's fine. You can be suspicious because, like even Andrea says, she has friends that have no social media.
I guess nowadays some people do delete everything, and
that's what they tell you to say. Say you hate it,
but they have no record of them on the internet. Because that's weird.
That they'd have to that they'd have to go in and do
and
like
falsify some sort of fake like background,
like a what is that called? Spokio, those websites where you can go and like search up people's stuff.
Because everybody's on the internet somewhere for the most part, like you know what I'm saying, like some record of where you worked. You look up people's names and find the history. You know, even if they're not on social media. And I know people that have deleted their social media.
That would be interesting, what you just talked about. I want to meet the person that builds the fake and leaks it. How do they leak it?
Well, or just builds a fake profile and past so that when when your new community looks you up, because that's what people do.
But you might be overthinking it because you overthink everything. Maybe they don't even get that far.
It seems like
because you're like that would be suspicious, and they're like, nobody ever looks it up.
Yeah, everybody. Crystal looks up all, so she'll be like, people do that. Like Sam, we had Sam on the show. She'll be like, he worked here, his social media, like she knows his whole life.
But will you get to a point where if they have no social media, where like, I don't trust them. Like, what does it even mean? Is my point. Like they have no social media, so what does that mean?
Well, it just means that something big people, conspiracy theorists, like people they're like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Who is this person?
Yeah, but people love conspiracy. That's why that's why we believe those. That's why they'll be here till the end of time. They'll never go away.
Yeah, but
we love feeling like we got the one up.
Yeah, it feeds into like suspicion of who is this person? Where did he come from? Like, why isn't his past on the internet? I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see somebody that like controls that or like does that
or builds fake profiles so that it tells a fake story about your past.
In a weird way, it's kind of like catfishing. But the story of Hannah Kobayashi, super sad. I don't think we'll ever get a I mean, it seems like we got...
But she's alive and well in Mexico, and she's living there on her free will. Or at least that's what's being
with her
reported.
aunt. And it seems like the public kind of got taken for a ride. And what I mean by that is it seems like you have a family that might have some mental instability within it, and they had a person go missing, or they thought it was missing. It got worldwide attention. Didn't really need worldwide attention. And then the dad, he's got some problems, and he killed himself, and now we got to watch the whole thing, and the whole family's torn apart, and they want to be left alone. Okay, great job.
Yeah,
we did a great job.
Although some people would be like, "This is not over. Someone's not telling us something."
Yeah, but that's everywhere, right? I mean, everybody's, they're right now in this city. There are.
Because it is a bizarre act to kill yourself without, knowing where your daughter is.
Yeah, but
she just went to Mexico, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm so distraught, I'd kill myself."
Yeah, but I think a lot of times, though, what was he? Let's say he's like a little older than me. Let's say he's like 60, okay? And let's say he's, not in good health, never took care of himself very good, mental instability. He's drinking a ton. And he combines it with some pills that he doesn't know anything about because he thinks that that's an easy way to go, right? And you drink and drug yourself to death. Very easy. You die. Cardiac arrest.
He jumped off of a
right.
parking garage.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, there are ways to do it. Right.
All right. We will see you tomorrow. Cool.
That didn't stop.
Hold on. So we finished that show.
Second. Boop. Got it. All right.
That is 12:30, segment 4.
Yep. 12:30, segment 4.
gonna go take a lunch break, then come back for the BDM show at 1.
All right, y'all. We'll see you on Facebook after lunch for some BDM stuff, all right?